Start 2. All right, second session of the Sphere of Power. Plot thickens. All right, so we finished up last week taking down a rather obnoxious large beast, which some of you have figured out are trolls, or is a troll, I should say. And you're in a cave, obviously his home. It's a rather large cave with a cavern leading towards the background or to the back of the cavern. And despite the relatively good airflow coming through the cavern, it smells something awful in here. Decay, death, definitely not a place that you want to stay too long. But you don't have too much of a choice because there's a pretty big storm raging outside, and the path you had been following is pretty much turned into a, I don't want to say a raging torrent, but yeah, certainly the two Goliaths probably wouldn't have much of an issue, but the rest of you would definitely be taking a chance trying to walk against the current. So given what's flowing down the mountain and what's coming down from up top, you're definitely in a better situation, especially now that you have taken care of the cave's inhabitant. And let me see.
So who had the final killing blow?
That is a good question.
I can't
I
remember who
don't
had
think it was me.
I can't remember who had the killing blow.
Looking right now, it looks like Redreth.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't remember what I threw, but it sure was fun.
Sphere. Your flaming sphere.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I bumped it into it.
Oh, right. I do remember that now.
I'm just trying to find something quick in the log.
We didn't search body, did we? We just killed it and left it at there.
Yeah,
I think we
gotten to the end of that point.
Okay.
Let's see. Where is finding stuff in the log sometimes? It's amazing how much content we generate going through a game session.
I'm back.
Perfect. We're just about to get ourselves started. So we both started recording. Summarized where you guys are at inside the cave. Everyone has the cave map up, I guess. Let me double check.
Yep.
I see 3 of you have it, so let me just go ahead.
under cave map, you said, right? All right.
Yeah.
Or just double click your icon. on
Oh,
your
that's
character
right.
sheet.
That's right.
All right, so you guys are pretty spread out at this point. And if I'm not mistaken, you did do some healing. Mizram did some healing on a few of you. Does that sound right? Watch it.
I'm showing self a little bit down, but I should be okay.
Do have to admit, going 2 weeks between sessions makes it a lot harder to remember exactly what happened last time around. I'm sure it's even
Absolutely.
worse.
I'll try to
Yeah,
start
I
doing.
meant to watch the.
Go ahead.
I meant to watch the video last night, but I got busy.
Yeah, I meant to also, and yeah, my same excuse. I've been nonstop with stuff lately, but yeah, we can still push along. So looking at everyone, yeah, you guys took Haig took a couple of good hits, but most of you are now reasonably back up to full health at this point, but you are definitely depleted. And I guess we should go ahead and reread the description just so. Cold rain is driven by high winds into the cave mouth for at least 10 feet, soaking the area. The torrent has broken loose small rocks and mud above the cave mouth, washing it quickly down to what has turned into a raging flood on the trail below. Presently, the rain has turned to sleet, covering the rock at the cave mouth with a rime of ice. Chamber itself is large and deep, with a crack in the roof near the back and a twisting passageway leading deeper into the mountain. There is detritus strewn about the floor, including some rather large gnawed bones. The mouth of the twisting passageway emits a very rank odor, which is obviously the source of the stink. And if I remember correctly, also, you guys had started to build a fire. Did you get, yeah, you got it started. So you have the fire burning. And where did you decided to put it right by the pile of bones, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
I don't know how to make a circle thing, but yeah, right by the, yeah, right. Well, yeah.
I know I personally
Right
would like
around
to
there.
explore that tunnel at the back a little bit too. See if there's any more danger back there.
Danger, Will Rogers.
Exactly.
All right. Are we currently in token lock?
We are. If we look at the time too, it's about 8 o'clock.
Yeah, the sun was beginning to set as you guys were heading over the passage or the pass.
Also want to kind of search the place. Bones, body. See if we can't find any trinkets.
I thought we had, but it's probably a good
Oh,
idea. Plus, there's that ramp, that lower ramp at the south of the screen.
True.
It's again after 2 weeks. It's kind of hard.
I don't know if anybody did try to find stuff. I think we got in here, we did a little searching, and the next thing we know, the troll came out.
Yeah, we didn't do much.
If I remember right, it was shortly after the you guys got the fire that you heard him respond.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we have down there? All right, so Varric and Haig are both down by the entrance. Now, keep in mind that Varric, you're up on a slight little ledge.
Correct.
You don't want to have to climb up to where Varric is. Haig, you're going to have to kind of go around to the northeast there. That's a slope up as opposed to a ledge.
Oh yeah. My thoughts were I thought last time you said it was like a 5 foot, so it should be something
Yeah,
I should be able
it's
to
not
lift up,
much.
right?
It's definitely nothing that even requires a roll, but just so you know, it is enough to give a bit of a height advantage and
Right.
kind of.
I'm just kind of waiting to see what he does.
Okay.
I'd
So
say I was just going to say it would probably be easy to do with a running jump, but not a standing jump. And then Kaylee and Redreth are at the same level as Varric, but yeah, you would have to stay walking around the edge there and underneath the web that you see. So
I did have a question. Do we want to give Redreth the first pop at searching the body since he had final kill?
that's party call.
Well, what does the party think? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I'm okay with that.
I mean, he had final kill.
First dibs on poking the
Amazing.
body.
I'm perfectly fine with splitting up whatever we find, but I'll make my way around there and come up to the body and wrinkle my nose.
Yeah, he is
And
definitely
say,
foul smelling, no doubt about it.
say, does anybody else want to check?
Do we need to roll to
Pretty
check?
gross.
Poke it with a
I'm
stick.
gonna
Yeah,
take,
what-
yeah. Go ahead.
Do you want us to roll, Keith?
Yeah, in the tower.
Okay. Investigation?
Yes, please.
Okay. Oh, hey, at least I'm a +6 on that.
It helps. All right, so you rummage through the smell through the body as best as you can endure the stench coming off of the corpse. And just a reminder, as you're looking through it at the body, you realize that what several of you saw during the battle, where it seemed to miraculously heal from most of the blows, seems to be true. Places that you guys know you landed blows seem to have completely healed. But for whatever reason, it did finally succumb to its injuries. Beyond that, though, mostly just disheveled clothing, not really doing much justice and revealing more than it probably should. And obviously not doing much to keep them warm.
I don't know much about trolls, but I don't believe they just regenerate themselves.
Yeah, no cloak, no rings, no nothing that would show. Well, he's not intelligent enough to probably have the ring, but anything that giving a sign to why he was able to heal. Do you want me to roll in on that sort of investigation, or what do you want me to do?
Let's see. I'm actually going to do an overall check over here. Let's see. Actually, Haig and Kealali both seem to recall or bring up and start sharing memories of tales that they had heard as youngsters of large beasts called trolls that apparently could shirk off most any damage.
Okay.
And they have a reputation for pillaging villages.
So they got
And
plundered.
so Redrith asks, so what actually finally brought it down? I mean, I'm curious as to what, if we run into one of these again, what kind of damage do we need to focus on here?
Well, your flaming sphere was what killed it, so that was a good point to make note of what was the killing blast.
Plus Kaleli and her,
you don't know.
whatever she threw in it, took more than half of its life.
Yes.
Good to know.
I don't even remember the attack Kaleli had, but I know that it took more than half.
So what do you want to do, brother?
Well, if we can't find anything in the body, and no one else wants to seem to investigate any of the bones, see if we can't find any more trinkets, then I guess we continue further into the cave.
Oh, and Before I forget, I mentioned this in chat last week, and now that I just added experience points, I realize that we haven't done this yet. Everyone except for Mizram, please go into your XP level on your character sheets. Make sure you have 6,860 XP, and your next level is at 14,000.
Where is that? Is that main tab, skills tab, abilities tab?
Hold on, it's going to be on your main tab, and where it says class and level, you're going to hit the magnifying glass right beneath that.
You said the total should be what?
You should have 6,860, and next level is 14,000.
Very good.
Okay, so what was it? 6,000.
860.
Thank you. 660. 666.
You might have to go to a push to talk to, Eric.
Yeah, I got kids up. Well, sorry.
Did you hurry to eat breakfast?
Eric, just so you know, you only put 1,400, 1,000. In which case, I'd have to advance you like 3 or 4 levels, and that just won't work.
1,400, right?
14,000.
Oh, 14,000. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, that's your next level, and you're already well past 1,400. So.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Good call. Hold on, I gotta change this over.
But unfortunately, you find very little else on him. Certainly no kind of jewelry or anything that appears arcane in any form that might suggest it. So based on the fact of what you saw, and that this is your all of your first encounter with a creature such as this, based on your childhood memories, or at least those of Kaylee and Kaylee, Redrith, and Haig all have recollections of childhood lore about trolls. So you're pretty sure that's what you ran into, though this one seemed to be particularly nasty, big, and smelly.
Excellent.
Oh, and I guess he did also have on him... He was just biting and clawing at you, so he didn't even have a weapon on him.
Right.
So yeah, he's relatively ungeared.
Hey, do you need to heal?
I don't think there's any. Does anybody else have skills that they want to do with a short rest? Skills they want to re-up?
Well, I've still got spell slots available, but I mean, if it's one of those things, if it's raining and storming outside, we can't go anywhere. I guess I'd like to explore this tunnel back here, see where that goes a little bit, and then we could take a rest after that.
Okay. We'll assume we're going to take assume we may head back out this way. So I'm going to follow my brother. I am going to wait to see if Kitty and the madam want to assist in the shortcut up the 5-foot jump.
I actually had no intention of going going down that tunnel.
Well, since Redruth is up there, he does see it's a narrow and twisting passageway, not really large enough to even swing a weapon in. And of course, it is ripe with the same rank odor that you've been picking up whiffs from, but it's definitely coming from here and pretty strong down here. Passageway itself rises deeper into the mountain, and some of you make note of or wonder I mean, not that the troll couldn't have fit down here, but you're kind of like, wow, he must have squeezed his way through here.
Yep, I'll keep moving
Miz.
forward
Miz,
slowly.
you have intention of going in? Well, I guess kitty kitty. Can't speak when he's kitty kitty.
Here, kitty.
So
kitty.
with lack of intent, I'm following these guys.
I'm going rather slowly and just ready to toss out.
You guys, did
A
you guys
spell
bring
if
a
I need
light
to.
source?
I can see.
Oh, that's right. You can see.
I have.
But the Goliath brothers can't.
Right.
That's
And
true.
I have
It's
to
true,
see
we
if I
cannot
still
see.
have. Give me a second.
And
think
what?
it was-
Just to check, I presume we're doing a cautious pace. We're not rushing through.
Yes.
We're not necessarily.
Absolutely.
Yes, going. That's what I'm moving very slowly and listening.
Okay, so to clarify, are you just being cautious in your advance, or are you actually searching along the way?
I have dark vision. I'm definitely examining everything as I go forward.
Okay, so this is a search pace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you take your time going through the passageway, which continues to wind its way around.
I'm kind of following a blind faith.
I do have a torch and tinderbox if you guys wanted to bring a torch and just stay back just a touch.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I have. I had a druid spell, one of my other characters, to create fire that I could hold in my hand, but I do not have it on this character at this time. So
I have dancing lights. I can send those out, but I would prefer to keep them behind me.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. So they're strung down the path behind me.
So as you can see, the path continues up. It is a slow incline up into, or up deeper into the mountain. And it goes through a couple of bends and turns.
And I'm keeping the lights because the dancing lights is what, 3 or 4 lights. Let's see,
Up
yeah,
to
4. Up to 4. Yeah, and I'm just keeping them strung out behind me, and I move them forward a bit as I move forward. Oh, it says up to 4, so I'll just do 2 behind me and leave it at that. And then I creep up to the next corner here. As quiet as I can be.
I will stay back
Okay.
a little bit so you can creep.
Yeah, and I peek around this corner. It's all gray right now.
And yet another turn into the darkness.
Okay. I whisper back to those guys, another corner. And I creep up to that one, move the lights up around those guys.
Yeah, while you guys are exploring, I was more interested in getting dinner going.
That's probably not a bad idea.
Are you cooking the troll?
Now we have the mix of rot and what's for dinner?
Yeah. Troll stew.
There we go.
So Redrith, as you turn this corner, you can see that this is the final turn before a 30-foot passageway opens up into a larger chamber, but you can't quite tell how big or how much.
Okay. So I will creep back and whisper to these guys that there is a chamber up ahead, about 30 feet up. So I'll tell them just to hold right there, and I will leave the dancing lights right there. And since it's a cantrip, when it runs out, I'll just recast it. And then I will creep as quietly as I can be, which honestly, I'm not sure how stealthy I am. I have a pretty good,
Does he need to roll
reasonable
for that?
dex. You want me to roll a stealth check?
Yes, please.
Okay, I roll it in the tower. And then I'm slowly creeping forward, looking at everything along the way. And get up to the edge of the other cavern here.
That's a big circle.
I was just checking what the range was for dark vision sight, how far he would be able to see.
I wondered what that was. I'm like, what's going on? 60 foot, 85 foot. What are we doing?
Just keeping you guys on your toes, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what do I see? Oh, okay.
The end of the passageway is a chamber, smaller than the outer chamber. It is empty. Strewn everywhere on the floor are rags of cloth, bits of leather, saddles, and so forth. The mingled bones of a horse and a very large bird lie gnawed near one foul pallet.
I'll creep around the corner here so I can see the rest of the cavern. And I don't hear anything?
Nope. Quiet and silent. But stinky.
Okay. I'll go back here where I can see down the thing and recast dancing lights all the way down this 30-foot area. And whisper, kind of whisper shout, you guys can come forward.
Did the cat join them, or is the cat staying at the other end of the passageway?
I was just going to say, I'm going to go, kitty, kitty, kitty.
Hearing that from where I am, I just slowly trot along to follow.
Yeah, I will say Kitty definitely does not like the smell.
I'm just hoping you guys aren't going too far, because if something happens on either end and you've gone too far, then, we won't be able to notice. And besides, dinner's almost ready.
Yeah, they've been gone about 10, 15 minutes now, I'd say.
No shouting yet. Okay, so now that they've moved forward, I'll just throw the 4 dancing lights, up around the cavern, just like, here.
Well, it helps illuminate it pretty well. You can see there's an upper platform up top there, and a lower area where there seems to be a lot more activity, and most of the bones have been set. There are a couple of like where Haig just walked through right now. You can see just some straw pallets that were on the side there, but those rounder ones seem to be a little more cush, a little more plush, at least as far as bedding goes. The nicest looking ones are the two up in the higher part of the chamber, but they're also surrounded by the flat straw mats.
Oh, wait. How many are there?
All right, so see the gray things?
Yeah.
Those are the middle ground bedding. See now between Hague and Redreth, you see those three elongated, two brown and one red?
Yeah.
Those are also straw mats.
Oh.
Next to Hague is one of the nicer beddings, and there's two more of them up top, along with three more of the straw mats.
So there's wow, okay. So there's potentially a lot of
That's a lot.
something. I'm counting those and I say, Haig, should we go back and get everybody else? There seems to be like there's a lot of people that live here.
Kind of, I threw an investigation check in the dice tower. I'm kind of poking around to see if there's if I notice any things that have been disturbed recently, or if I can tell if there's more than just. Technically, I'm seeing if the troll ate everything in here, or if there are multiple trolls.
Oh, I see. Like if this was another group of people that the troll came in and ate, or if
Yes.
there's like a lot more trolls.
Yes, I am investigating if the troll caused a bunch of stuff, or if there's trolls. If this is a family of trolls.
Based on your description of what you're looking for and the roll that you made in the tower, you come to the conclusion, based on the smell coming from each one of these, that this is the home of more than one troll. Whether or not there's many here as there is bedding, you don't know. You know, some could be furniture as opposed to sleeping areas, or just, you know, where they hang out and eat. The area that you're in obviously sees the most activity. And so you would presume this is where, you know, they actually do their eating and whatever interaction that they have, whereas the upper chamber seems to be more of a sleeping area. But that's not to say that you don't see bedding and makeshift, for lack of a better word, pillows in some of the bedding down by you. However, in that large one that's right next to you as you're looking around, not so much that you see stuff that's been moved around recently, but thanks to the lights that Redreth has thrown up, you see something glint briefly underneath the pile just to your northeast.
Okay. Do I touch the shiny?
Well, you don't even know what the
I'm
shiny
going-
is yet. You just
Right,
saw something.
but that's what I'm saying. Right, that's what I'm saying. So
Throw a stick at it.
I'm going to say, I'm gonna turn back to Redreth and communicate that there's more than one. I think we should go back to Galilee in case other things arise. And if we wait, we'll obviously have to wait until the morning. Maybe we should, and then we can communicate to Galilee what we've got, and then regroup. One, wait for what could return and be all together, and then two, come back to this room with a plan.
Redreth's going to go up because he can't see what's up on top right now, right? Until he goes around up there, right?
You do get a better view from where you are right there, absolutely. But
Okay.
that's much shallower, at least from where you are. It's only like 2 or 3 feet up. It's probably,
Oh, okay.
but it's a downslope to where Hague is, so it's probably about 8 feet cliff by where he is. But from where everyone came into the cave, since there are no gnomes present, it's at least below eye level.
At this point, I'm going to start getting a little precautious. Since I know she's back by the fire, I'm going to prepare myself to whistle, like the double finger whistle, to let her know that we've got some issues in case something decides to crawl up from underneath a rock, per se.
Gotcha.
Yeah, do I see any other entrances to this room? I don't even know how, I don't know how trolls move, so I'm
this
not
cave
sure.
seems to be pretty sealed, except there are a couple of cracks in the ceiling where you can see the smoke is heading out, so that seems to explain the airflow.
Could be hidden.
Yeah, that's true. Boy.
Trolls aren't completely stupid.
Right. I'm going to move up here. I want to do an investigation check up in this area, see if I see anything that can give me, because I'm just trying to figure out, if there's anything around up here, but also if there's like a hidden entrance or something. Because it would be really good to know if they're going to come from this direction out to the other cave or if they're going to come from the outside into here. Because this might potentially be a safer place to be than out there.
Very good point. Go ahead and make your investigation check. As I pointed out before, most of it looks like bedding that gets less use than what's below. The air is slightly fresher up here. There doesn't seem to be as much food waste and animal decay up on this platform. And with the smoke coming towards you from the passageway, it seems to kind of keep most of the odor at bay. So it definitely is a little better up here. But nonetheless, again, because of the dancing lights that you have up in the room, if Haig hadn't mentioned anything before, you also notice the glint in the pile down below when you go to check out the ledge.
Okay.
Now,
So there's
as
something
I'm
definitely in there.
I'm up here, I can see it. So I can see it. I was like, there's something in there.
Can I ask, does it seem to be, because does it seem to be as if when you're looking around, you caught an eye in the tree line or type of glint, or a flicker of light across glass type of flicker?
The former.
Can I tell that?
The former.
Okay. And that's what I was concerned with.
Yeah, it's not that brilliant and gem in the rough type, but it definitely is standing out amongst all the detritus, decay, and straw.
So I'm guessing when you say something's in there, I'm going to say back to Redrith that I'm guessing it's an infant, or I'm guessing it's a immature.
No, it's not. It's not alive.
Oh,
It's just like something reflected off the light. So yeah, to that extent, yeah, it is kind of like a little piece of something reflective, but it's not like a brilliant
Glass
gem
or metal?
highly polished or anything like that.
Redrith's going to go pick it up.
All right, so Redrith, as you brush away the straw to check out and see what it is that caught your attention, you see what appears to be a bone scroll case and a small oblong box next to it.
Redrith gets really excited seeing the scroll case.
You would.
I'm really curious how that appears to you guys.
Open scroll, sealed scroll, and a small oblong box.
Beautiful.
Yeah, let me see.
That's how it's supposed to show up, right?
That's the way I wanted it to.
Like that. Can you see that?
Oh, I can kind of see the window, but I can't make out the text. It might be easier to actually do a screen share, depending. Oh, you're on the phone though, so yeah, that ain't gonna work. Yep,
Just look now.
yep, I can see it. So,
Cool.
I was gonna say if you could open up one of them, I want to see what kind of details you get.
Yep. Give me 1 second.
The oblong box is quite interesting with gold cubes.
The open scroll says found in the debris of a troll cave, and that's it. And the sealed
scroll says a rolled piece of parchment sealed with a dollop of azure wax.
Okay, so the open scroll obviously should be easy to read. So go ahead and take a look at that now.
A letter to Elminster. Unable to create window with data source.
What?
That's what it tells me in the chat box.
In the
Oh,
chat
you know-
box,
oh,
yeah,
you
it
know
says
what?
that for me too.
I bet you it's probably because I have to actually share it first. So let's see if that does it. Yep.
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah,
there we
there
are.
you go. Very nice.
No.
Very nice.
Oh,
Harry Potter.
I can't. My
Oh,
head
that's
hurts
beautiful.
too much.
It's going to take
I
me a
can't
minute.
read
Here,
it.
I'll read it out loud.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Let me, if you guys hear my mic start getting all staticky and whatnot, let me know. The cable that my mic is plugged into is, Dan will understand. It's one of the really crappy old ones from church. And so it's got a break in it somewhere. So I've ordered a new one. But anyways, at some point I noticed on one of my Zoom chats at work that all of a sudden it started sounding like AM radio, kind of.
Nice.
So just let me know if you ever hear that from me, because I just got to tap the cord and then it'll go away.
All right, now
okay,
you're coming through
anyways.
perfectly clear. So
Okay, good.
And
Right
for future
now,
reference, anybody listening to the YouTube channel now realizes that you can go to church and play D&D.
right? Yes, exactly. Very good. Okay.
Yeah,
so
they're not mutually exclusive.
right. All right. So the letter says, "Esteemed Elminster, sage of Shadowdale, high wizard of Waterdeep. I hope this message finds you well. Too long it has been since our last meeting, but we both understand our studies leave little time for social endeavors. Yet I find myself once again in need of your assistance and foresight. After many years, my research has revealed the ancient mysteries of Martek, or Martok. It looks like an E or an O.
Martek.
The great Martek. Okay. The great wizard who was known far and wide in these lands a millennia ago. I am convinced now more than ever that rumors of his legacy that persist to this day are indeed rooted in prophecy he foretold before his own demise. Based upon my recent discoveries, I am convinced that his prophecy was one of doom, and if it is to be held true, then it will be necessary to locate and retrieve his sphere of power with all haste if the land is to be spared the devastation that he foresaw. It is for this reason that this message has found its way to you. I feel that no ordinary group of mercenaries would be able to complete this task. It will require a special combination of competence, dedication, and courage to see it through. Death will likely await all but the most cautious and humble of souls who embark on this quest. I feel I am woefully ill-equipped to identify any such individuals, but I believe your gifts are exceptionally well suited for this purpose. To this end, I would beseech you to send forth a group of heroes whom you foresee are capable of such a deed. Along with this message, you should receive a set of teleportation cubes along with a separate scroll detailing their use so that your delegates may be brought here in, it's Bralazar?
Bralazar.
Okay. I humbly bestow my immeasurable gratitude in advance, mighty Elminster. Aman al-Rashib or Rakib?
Al-Raqib.
Okay. That is the letter.
Okay, for the purposes of my notes, I would appreciate an easy to read version of this eventually, but
Yeah,
All right, we don't do easy to read. Sorry.
This is parchment and
I comprehend so much better if I can read it myself, but right now, my brain is just not cooperating and is refusing to focus on the letters.
not a problem. I will make sure that I can get you a more legible copy. But yeah,
you.
this will be among the easier things for you guys to read.
Cool.
All right, so you still have the oblong box and the sealed scroll.
I think we should take those and go back to the other cavern.
Agreed.
I agree.
All right. I'll
Now that I know-
recast the dancing lights to go down the cavern or ahead of us as we head back.
I will catch up. Give me a sec.
We run off and leave you in darkness.
I do that arm flailing run while I'm crying.
At this point, you've been gone long enough for me to have dinner organized.
Yeah, I was just going to say that they've been gone about 20, 25 minutes at this point.
I come into the cavern and say, "We come bearing gifts."
As Varric phases through the wall. I want the phase ability.
And I guarantee for at least the next half a dozen sessions, I'm going to keep calling you Talthi.
Talty.
Yeah,
I am aware of this.
Red dress, somehow you put your token on top of mine.
I dropped mine. I saw mine go there, and then yours went on top afterwards. So yeah, now we're
It's called lag, guys. It's called internet gremlins.
right.
it's funny watching all the tokens crawl their way across the screen back to the main room.
I know.
So I show. Is it Kalili?
Hey, Lily.
KLLE?
Kalili. I show her the box and the scroll and the letter when we get back.
I will read the letter and inspect the scroll and box and wonder if maybe we should, do I recognize? Alex recognizes the name Elminster, but doesn't remember much of the lore about him.
I would assume Redrith, being a wizard, would probably know. From
Yes. He is by far the most.
History of wizarding course or something like that. I'm thinking like Harry Potter or something. There's
Hogwarts,
like
yeah.
when he's going
History
through
check.
when he's going. Oh yeah, that's true. But I'm assuming when he was being trained as a wizard, he probably would easily know who the more prominent wizards are.
So KLLE is interested in delivering delivering the letter and its accompanying items to to its intended recipient. The primary reason she was comfortable reading the letter was because it was already open.
And just so you know, Alex, inside the campaign play channel on Discord, I put both a copy of the image file and the Word doc that's there, so you should be able to just open up the Word doc and put it to any font you want.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Now I have that, and I can add it to my notes later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm going to try to keep campaign-related content, visuals, maps, things like this thrown in there. I think actually it's going to become necessary for certain parts of this.
Very cool.
But yeah, that's why.
We also want to inform her of the many beds in that cavern back there.
Yes. And Elohir, I know you were using World Anvil for our last session. I never could actually get in there to see any of the details. It never did let me in and see anything. So.
Interesting. Anne pointed out something to me this morning that I have yet a chance to look at, but it looks like it's a more collaborative tool for allowing us to work together on character storylines. So I'm going to look into that.
That sounds fun.
It does sound fun.
See what we can do with that. But
Cool.
yeah, I definitely like being able to empower you guys to contribute to your storylines as much as possible.
Right.
All right. So
Redreth is reverently holding on to the box and the scroll and the letter, and is just like, it's like getting a signed T-shirt from your favorite rock band kind of a thing,
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So
now,
yeah.
Yes.
And
so anybody else wants to come and look at it, he's kind of doing when you pull it away a little bit and then decide to let him have a look, kind of a thing. Because it's cool wizarding stuff. So he's a wizard. He's a wizard nerd. So
Mizram and the two Goliaths, please roll insight checks. Okay, not so much the two brothers, but Mizram does, especially Mizram, because most of the reason why the three of you are together, the reason why you're out is because you do have some kind of feeling that fate is pulling or guiding your destiny. And so you're kind of having some kind of inkling or inclination that were you meant to find this? How long would this have been here if you guys had not found it? How long has it been here? So, those kind of questions about whether or not this is part of your path or not is definitely coming into the druid's mind.
Yeah, I'm definitely...
There's no date on the letter?
Nope.
I'm definitely sitting there in cat form, just thinking, going, yep, dreams are proving true so far. Nodding to myself in cat form while I'm just looking up into the ceiling.
Redreth is simply lovingly caressing the box and the scroll case.
Well,
Hig is looking towards the food.
My precious.
Hungrily.
Okay, this is going to get very wizardly R-rated, isn't it?
Well, he did say he got really excited back in the other cave, and I was going to ask if it was inappropriately excited or... It seems like it's leaning that way.
Nerdgasm.
If you guys open the small oblong box, what description do you have?
A rectangular carved wooden box.
Wooden.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it does give you enough of the details. But the other scroll still says it's sealed with a dollop of wax, right?
Yep.
So you're not You're not unsealing the scroll, correct?
Correct. It's not ours.
I agree.
We shouldn't open it. That's Kaylee's
I'm
view of
not.
things.
I'm not promising anything there, but I am not opening it yet because we have to have dinner and we've got to get a little rest in and that kind of stuff. But I'm making no promises about any of it. So as I
Well, I'm not
examine
asking.
it and
I'm not asking for any. I'm just. You know.
She's being cautious and respectful.
Probably not a bad thing to do. All right, so let's see. No, not that one.
Redress eating food while still examining the box and looking at every millimeter of the scroll case.
Would this be considered a short rest then?
All right. So you guys sit down, you start enjoying food. Kayla Lee apparently knows her way around a cooking fire. And everyone's quite
Alright.
happy with what she's prepared. I'll let her describe whatever she put together.
I just took trail rations and made something hot.
Redrith
And
eats happily while eyeing the box and the scroll, and yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like a gourmet meal or anything, but it's better than it's better than a cold trail rations. I actually did something and made them hot.
and substantially better than a troll diet.
Yes.
So you guys are eating. You're not quite finished, but for the most part, you've had your fill. When Mizram and Redreth pick up a sound coming from outside over the, or somewhat diminished by the sound of the storm. And the sound gives both of you a chill, though you can't quite make out what it is.
I look at Mizram and I look at the rest and I say, "Do you hear that?"
Of course, Miz acknowledges that he heard something too, but the rest
From
of you
where?
are just like, huh, what?
Yeah, my ears are perked up and I'm down low, and my
Point
tail wagging.
outside, and I can hear the sound coming from outside, and so I immediately dash up to the top of the ledge.
I went to this side entrance of the cave. And yeah.
And I get down low. I'm up on the top ledge, and I get down low.
Okay. And Varric and Haig. Actually, all of you go ahead and make a stealth check, please.
With my -2. Did I roll 2d20 somehow? Oh yeah, for the penalty.
Yeah, you have disadvantage because of your armor.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys definitely are not graceful,
No.
and the armor don't help.
How about the weather outside?
The weather
Does
does.
that help?
The weather definitely does.
Sweet.
All right, so let's see.
I can't have done too terrible.
Famous last words.
Hey, unless he's house ruling that there is such a thing as a critical failure on skill checks, the worst I can get is an 11, and that's not awful. That's just not
That's
great.
not awful.
All right. Takes a few minutes before there's any.
And we still have the fire burning, right?
Yes.
I thought about that, but we're gonna have to leave it. Hopefully, that gets their attention instead of who's in the
It's a distraction.
who's in opposite ends of the cave entrance. We shall see.
So you spend a few minutes in your positions, kind of wondering what it was. Again, Ms. and Redruth are the only ones that heard the sound, so the two brothers are kind of on lookout, but not quite sure what they're looking for or what they're listening for. And just as you're kind of getting comfortable that there's nothing to worry about or nothing to be seen, you hear the sound. And being at the edge of the cave and without the echo to distort it, the two of you realize it sounds very much like the same sound that the troll you killed made before it came out of the cave, out of the back cave.
And we didn't have enough time for a short rest, right?
No, you did not.
Okay.
So I've got my back on
You
my
spent
side of the
most-
cave. I'm hoping the troll comes in without noticing us.
And just so you know, you spent about 20, 30 minutes looking, exploring the cave, both the front and the back, and finding the stuff and the box and the scrolls and bringing it back up. And then maybe about another 15, 20 minutes sitting down and eating. So it's just about an hour, but you definitely didn't have time to squeeze a short rest in. So, Haig, you are the one that kind of makes the connection that there's more of them returning.
Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can get their attention, and I'm gonna point at the dead troll at the other end of the cave, and then point to the outside entrance. To try to communicate. There's more of those out there.
All right, and just to make sure no one critically
Ready, my weapon?
fails, go ahead and do a insight check just to make sure everyone understands what he's indicating. I'm only concerned about ones, otherwise you'll understand. That should be pretty obvious. Well, hey, you're the one that's making them.
I know, but I like to roll.
Okay,
So.
well, that's you got a 22 on that, so.
In the dice tower?
Woohoo!
It doesn't matter. Like I said, I'm only concerned about ones. You'll know if you don't get it.
Oh!
Speaking of,
Varric, you have no idea what your brother's talking about, and instead
wah,
look
wah.
towards the dead troll to see what he's pointing to.
I'm just sitting there with my finger up my nose.
Oh, he told you. He said you're gonna head towards the troll, brother.
It's like, what? What about him? I'm looking at him. What? What? You want me to get something off
Shrugging
him?
his shoulders, like. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna look at him and just wave him back.
There's a face palm in there somewhere, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Okay, so as you do the face palm, you hear more sounds coming from the valley or from the path up to the cave. And it sounds like there's an argument going on. There's definitely more than one of whatever's coming back.
If we try to communicate, well, I'm gonna look at Ms. and Redreth and kind of go, give them the what do you want to do?
can I
guess
hear,
I wouldn't.
can I hear the voice from where I am up on the ledge?
You can, to the extent that you and Ms. heard something in the first place. Yeah, you're hearing more of them, and you're hearing it a little bit louder, and you can tell that there's more than one, probably 2 or 3 that you can discern, but you can't make out what's being said, and you definitely don't know the language.
I'm gonna cast comprehend languages.
Can I
Would
go
that
back
work?
to the side of the cave?
Was that Dan that wanted to go to the side of the cave?
No, that's
Or is that
Barrick.
okay? So yeah, you can head over there. Comprehend languages, Jim. What's the range on that?
It says it doesn't list a range specifically. It says you understand the literal meaning of any spoken language you hear.
The literal meaning. Okay, cool. All right. So yes, if you want to cast that, you should be able to expect to get some usage out of it.
Okay, so I'll use a first level spell slot. Okay.
Now they're a bit far away, so you can't make out everything, but you can get the general gist of what you're hearing. And apparently, what you can hear is what sounds like parents arguing with children, and someone complaining about Pop's going to be pissed that we don't have any food.
In my mind, I'm tallying up the number of people being referred to in this. And so I've got like at least 3. So I turn to Kayali and just around me, I'm just like, I hear at least 3. There's at least 3. And definitely getting more fearful as time goes on.
I'm gonna try. Okay. Do you want me to see if I can comprehend Jim or comprehend Redrith? Because I have another idea, but I have to try to communicate it.
Well, I mean, your brother was trying to use basically sign language or a thieves' cant without you guys having established any kind of hand signals, which honestly you should have done given that you fought together, but can't ignore the one.
Okay.
So,
So
that
I'm going to see.
was a situation where you just basically got confused about what he was trying to tell you, but there's not like anything blocking you guys from communicating at the moment.
Okay. I'm going to actually run across the front of the cave, come over here.
I'm on the opposite side of the fireplace, and so okay. So I'm looking at him, and I measure. I just do the 1, 2, 3, 4, and I point out the door, like 4, while I'm pointing out the door, and say, I think there's at least 3 or 4 of them.
Okay, so I'm going to say I'm going to try to best describe what I'm doing, and then see if you guys figure it out. I'm going to point towards the back of the cave, and bring my hands from my shoulders in, like knife hand. You guys know what knife hand means? Like you're pointing at something with your palm to the side, with your fingers all together. You know what I mean? It's called knife hand, like you're pointing like a drill sergeant.
Okay.
And then bring my 2 hands together to where my point, like bring my fingertips from my shoulders, knife hand, to where my fingers point together. Can you understand what I'm touching, or where they touch? That way I don't tell you what I'm trying to say without saying it. Here, hold on. What if I do this and you guys look at my video? Because pretend I'm a big Goliath going like this. Outside the cave.
Oh, like the cave's narrowing?
Yes. I'm pointing at the trolls outside of the cave entrance, and then pointing at the backside of the cave and going like this.
So let's go back where the cave narrows.
Are you trying to say like a pincer attack?
I can't. I'm trying to role play it. So.
Well, that's the only thing I can think of in my head is you're talking about.
You should interpret it as you see it.
Redrith points back to where the cave narrows and said, "Should we go there?"
I'm nodding.
All right, I'm going to head back there. That sounds like a good idea. Go back where it's really narrow. so less people can get to us at once, especially if there's like 4 of them or something. And I say the same thing to KL when I go by. I'm like, let's head back to where the cave narrows.
Give Eric the.
Yeah, remember though that you can't really you can't really raise a weapon inside of the narrow cave though.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not liking this plan. I'm not liking this plan because there's no room to maneuver, and from your description, the cave, the passage is much too twisty, and my preferred weapon wouldn't be of any use because I wouldn't be able to see anything because there's too many curves.
So I'm right next to you at this point. I can talk to you without being too loud. I'm thinking going back to the open cave and bottlenecking them. Then we only have to fight one at a time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Bottlenecking them.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, okay.
I give you a skeptical look because
You haven't been in there yet.
We will be trapped in there from your description. So I'm kind of skeptical of this plan.
She's right. We will be trapped.
Well, I don't think they're that happy with 5 of us can't drag them out of the opening.
Well, Varric, I presume you're going to take a look out the cave once more before you start running in with everyone else.
I could do that.
I realize it's a little DM leading, but I'm also figuring at some point you're going to like just check outside. What are we running from? Right?
All right, so I check outside.
I'm going to say to KLLE, we're either trapped in this cave where we have to fight them all in an open area, or we're trapped in back where we can bottleneck them. Because it's freezing ice and rain outside, so we're trapped either way. We either fight them where they have the advantage or fight them where we have the advantage.
Just question, did we burn the troll or is there still some of the troll left?
It's still there.
So
Mithram's
going to use his initiative and he's going to go over to where the troll will be and he's going to turn his back to the cave and he's going to pretend that he's there snacking on a dead troll. So like a distraction, so it gives you guys a chance.
Am I seeing this? Am I seeing that?
I thought you were looking outside.
I am, so I guess I'm seeing that. If I'm seeing
I am
that,
I am trying not to see what you see.
Holy shit. Okay.
So what do you do, Eric?
Obviously, at first glance, I see what I see, and I run back towards my brother.
And I'm gonna see his. What do I see? Do I see your eyes bugging out of your head?
Yeah, absolutely.
Holy crap.
Anything you say to me on your way by?
Yeah, I hold up both hands with my all fingers spread out, as in showing you 10. And I can't move. He's actually locked my character, so.
You
Draw where
can
you
make
want to go and how you want to get there, and then he can approve it.
I believe they would call that a full-out sprint.
Just to let you guys know, just remember what that letter said. Remember it said there's a device to teleport to the location. Just as a reminder.
The box. I still got it in my hand. All of a sudden I look down and I'm like, oh, the box. I go dashing up.
I was going to say, Eric, you and
right
I are
up
pretty
to
much
these
full
guys.
sprinting, right?
I'm going to take a 5-minute break while you guys discuss what your plan of action is, because fortunately they are not fast moving, but yeah, you do have an idea of what's coming your way.
Okay. So I go right. I got the box. I go running up and I'm like, teleport.
And I say, grab your gear.
Yes.
If we're going to teleport, grab your gear first.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, because we're not taking on 10 trolls. Actually, it's 8 8 big ass trolls and 2 little trolls.
Of course, the other thing that occurred to me is if we went through into the other room, right where the bottleneck is there, I could cast Liamon's tiny hut. It takes me a minute to cast, but I could cast that, and that's an impenetrable dome, and I could cast it right in the opening, so it would completely block off the thing. And as they're banging on it, you could just be sticking your sword out of the dome to attack them. You could take them down one at a time as they come through, but it would take me a minute to cast, so you'd have to hold them off for a minute while I could get that into play. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I prefer the scramble to grab your gear and fumble with those damn teleport cubes that we weren't supposed to use.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But I have the hut, so if that could be useful, I was thinking for our long rests, I can cast that, behind some trees or something, and then that way we can actually rest and I'll get a good rest. So.
Yeah, because you got to realize that Kalela is the only one that did most of the damage on the first one. So.
Yep. I do have a fair bit of fire, but yeah, that's.
So yeah, I think I think the idea is grab your gear and let's GTFO with those teleport cubes, assuming that we can get them to function before we're killed.
if we can group those guys up, I can fireball them also, though. I mean, I do have that.
It's kind of
GTFO.
I'm struggling. If I'm like.
It's a lot of experience.
We could get a lot of yeah. I like you and I, Eric, are going to go for the battle. That's what we're going to do.
I'm totally with the dome. I'm totally with the bottleneck in them.
Yeah, I mean, if we can trap them and prep the thing to teleport, and if we look like we're going to lose, teleport at the last minute, that would be my thing. But obviously, I'm going to follow you. You tell me what you want to do, Eric.
I kind of want to do what the group wants to do. So, I mean, for me,
we also have to actually read the scroll to understand how to teleport. So,
well, why don't we move back towards the other room then? So at least if we have to teleport, we're in that room, and at least if we're gonna get attacked, we can at least be bottlenecking them at the time.
That's true. All right, I'll be right back.
I'm not quite back yet, but presuming that you are now opening the other scroll, it has now been identified, so you can read the instructions.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you reshare that thing with me? For some reason, I can't see it. I think I closed the window.
Yeah, I did too. Teleport cube instructions.
Right, I'll be right back on, and I'll let you decide on our faith.
Yeah, we need time to set up the cube, so I recommend we run back to the other chamber and set it up in there.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I'll be right back. I gotta grab a little food.
With all that being said, I'm going to start making my way back because I don't know how long we have until those trolls get in.
I think we've got a plan now. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we will go towards the other cave. We will bottleneck them. And while we're bottlenecking them, if we have to fight, we'll then make sure that he's setting up the teleport so we can get out. But at the same time, we could take as much experience points with us. Is everybody else going to start moving back towards too?
I'm
Yeah.
running into something real quick too. Give me a sec.
Somebody accidentally moved me extra space. Or maybe, yeah. Or maybe not. These lines are hard to read. But yes, I
You're
think we're all
70.
sprinting for.
Yeah, we're all sprinting for the other cave.
Yeah. I don't think any of us can really move quite that far. I think 195 feet in 6 seconds is a little much. I mean, it can be done, but I don't think you can do it.
I turned into a fairy. Flew as fast as I could. I'm just playing. Well, I can't take it back.
Yeah, you can, but if you do, you have to redraw your entire path.
Yeah,
I know.
if you start at your character and start redrawing, the other line will disappear.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, cool. I will do that then.
I've only gone 15 feet too far, so I don't think it'll be a problem. Guys, what are your base movement speeds?
I don't know.
1 sec here.
Check on the main tab of your sheet.
On the
I'm a 30,
Yeah.
Alex.
yeah, I'm a 30.
Most of you guys are going to be 30, which means you can move 60 feet in 6 seconds. And if that's all you do. I can do 150. I can do 105 because I can triple move. Because cunning action and a 35 movement speed.
Okay, so like you said, so 60.
Coconuts of the Monte. Oh, that's
I make
right.
the clip clop sound. Now I can move like a horse. Which is what? An extra 10 feet or something.
I think that's I'm not sure what a horse gets.
Well, I'll stop at the 60 until we can move further, because like you said, we can only move so many.
A riding horse has a speed of 60 feet.
Okay. So it's just like it's the same thing as double moving. So very good. But it's more fun. Clip clop, clip clop, clip clop.
Does it take your action?
Well, I would assume that having the coconuts in my hand would require my action to make the sound. I mean, hey, think Monty Python.
Because if it takes your whole action, then yeah, it's only 60 feet. But if it doesn't take your whole action, like if it takes your bonus action, then that leaves your action free for your dash.
It's pretty much just for silliness. So, you know.
Okay.
I'm not sweating the details. I know we got a little bit of rules lawyering last campaign, and I don't have much interest in that kind of stuff. So if it's fun, I'm interested in doing it. If not, I'm not going to sweat it.
Okay.
All right, fill me in on the plan.
We're retreating so that we have a bottleneck to hold them off at while somebody tries desperately to figure out how to make those teleport cubes work.
Right, because we've got to arrange them on the ground in a pentagram with the symbols up in the correct order. So we're all dashing back to the other cavern where we've got a little space to do that.
And an opportunity to restrict their flow, which is probably a good thing. Now, I'm not going to be moving the tokens at this moment because they are hidden. Basically, that's just a snapshot of what Haig saw or Varric saw before he ran from the entrance. So I will let you know next time they come into view, but as far as you know, they are still outside the cave and presumably working their way in. Varric, I will point, there's a good mixing of your names, Vague. Varric, I will point out that you had no reason to believe that they weren't rushing towards you or didn't seem to be looking in the direction. They were definitely engaged in some kind of altercation. As a matter of fact, you're pretty sure you saw one of the females smack one of the smaller ones upside the head.
Okay.
Well, at least they got dinner when they come back.
If they like trail rations, or I suppose if they catch us and we don't get out of here in time, then yeah, they have dinner either way.
I mean, their father could pretty much eat themselves like, on occasion.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Do you imagine that? Mom, is Dad on the menu tonight? Most certainly is, kids.
Dad's coming for dinner. Redrith doesn't want to get too far from the cave entrance, so I head right to where I have my 60-foot ending, which is still close enough for people that are holding them off at the entrance if we need. And I immediately glance through the scroll, read the instructions, and start laying out the cubes in the pentagram order the way they're supposed to be.
Haig, are you coming?
We got three people who haven't hit the ready checks.
In the chat window.
I apologise. I didn't realise my chat bar was still scrolled up quite a bit.
That's okay. That's why I usually say something. I've got so many windows on screen, even I lose track of different windows. Where'd it go?
Sorry, guys. My father called.
No worries. This was good timing for the break then.
That's okay.
Yeah,
we decided
perfect.
Haig, we decided we're going to leave you for troll food. So see you later.
Oh, I lost a character. I put so much time in this. All right, so you guys are in the back cave, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Yes, we're headed back there. We're going to try and bottleneck what we can. He's going to try to set up the teleportation.
Yeah, Redreth is currently setting up the cubes right around him. So he's close to the entrance, so you guys can dash back once it's all set to go. So he looks over at Kaoli and says, "Don't get too far." And as he's working on arranging them and everything.
Okay.
All right, so let's see.
Okay, so the box of all of them. So here we go. When the cubes are placed as directed, they will begin to glow brightly. So I do that, and I'm already in the midst of them. So a chime should go off as soon as I get all of them put into place.
I'm actually thinking that I'm gonna stay closer than I'd really like because, emergency. And we all have to cram into this 2-foot slide pentagram?
Well, it looks like they chime and then you disappear as each party member steps in. So actually, I say I tell you don't get too far, and I place the last one down. They glow brightly, and boom, I'm gone. From the way this reads.
Me know nothing of magic.
I'm just going to ask a question. This teleport device in not like normal teleport device, right? Where the caster who activates it has to go last, otherwise it stops working, right? Because if so, bye.
It looks like the
So,
party.
yeah.
So I mean, we're all in a party. So I just vanish. You guys, you know. It says step into the circle or step into the area, and what I'm assuming is I read the instructions out loud as I'm puzzling through them, and so I'm assuming you guys heard.
And
what?
you're building it around you, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to make a ruling. Technically, you should probably have to step out and step back in, but I'm just going to say that as you place the last cube. Redrith disappears as all the cubes begin to glow simultaneously and begin pulsing.
Okay, who's next?
So Redrith is already out of the area.
Mitchell just runs a leap in. He just trusts in the dreams. He just goes, boop.
Yeah, I'm following as quickly as possible.
Varric will go last.
So you three are already out then.
Yep.
I'm looking at my brother. Looking towards the cave. Once you puff out, we're losing any sort of light sources that we have besides the glow
the
of the
cubes are glowing.
So
The cubes are glowing brightly. So quick.
So I'm going to look at my brother. Look down the cave entrance and go and show my reluctance to use the cube, and then close my eyes and use the cube.
Okay.
All right, and that was Varric.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I'm the last one, so
Okay.
obviously me being the only one there, I'm going to go in as well.
Okay. So basically, you all wind up stepping in, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Now, where are we going? No one knows.
All right.
Didn't have so many blasted trolls. That would have been good.
Right? I wanted a piece of those trolls.
Me too.
I mean, we could have taken another troll, maybe 2, but not 10 of them.
Well, 8 of them really. 2 baby
Not unless
ones.
somebody was willing to try and talk.
I think bottlenecks. We probably could have got 2 or 3.
Maybe 4.
Bloodthirsty.
My weapons yearn for blood.
And depending upon where we wind up, my comprehend languages is good for an hour. So.
All right, so just to clarify, Redrith went in first, then Ms. followed behind him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then
Yep.
it was
Okay.
Who was third?
I would have been right on Mrs. Tail.
Okay.
Right.
Then Haig and then Varric, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Roll for
A new character.
You end up in the deepest of waters. Can you swim?
Right.
Didn't think so. We'd be dead. There's no way we're swimming with heavy armor on.
All right, so Redrith. You were befuddled and disoriented in a way scarcely felt before. Stepping into the pentacle bounded, or standing in the pentacle bounded by the color cubes, brings a gut-wrenching feeling. First, a flash of light, then intense black, both momentary, burst upon your mind. Suddenly, you find yourself in a room of strange architecture, gazing intently at the eyebrows and white beard of an aged man. A spellcaster by the look of his robes. Your back is pressed against something, thankfully not solid enough to have caused you any pain when you materialized here. Your chest and legs are forcing the wizard to teeter on his stool. His eyes fly wide as he sees you appear, and his mouth opens in surprise as he is bowled over onto the floor. Your balance and your knees a bit unsteady as yet, you join him, nimbly avoiding crushing the frail old man beneath you. A crash heralds the arrival of Mizram, who has managed to upset the desk upon which the wizard had been writing. Tinkle of glass and the rush of wind as Mizram joins you on the floor strike almost musical accompaniment to the inarticulate whoops made by the startled old man. There is scarce time to think now, as the rest of the party joins you in the study, each one bowling over the one who preceded him, or her. The old man displays surprising agility as he nimbly scrabbles away, avoiding the ever-widening flood of adventurers deposited on his carpeted floor. A chime sounds, and the 5 lead cubes that brought you here drop to the floor with a thunk. Stepping over and around the bodies arrayed on the floor about him, the old wizard scoops the cubes into a pouch produced from his belt, tweaks his mustachio, and waggles his flaring eyebrows, obviously with delight. My, welcome to Berlizar. So nice of you to drop in.
Is he speaking in common, or is he speaking in something that only I understand because I've got comprehend languages going?
No, you apparently all can understand him.
Okay, cool.
Mizram will just look at the wizard, just reply with a soft growl.
Redrith says, looks around a bit and says, whoa, because he was just standing up from putting the 1 cube down when all the flashes and blackness and everything occurred. He's like, wow, that was fast. That was amazing. Do you have any more of those?
No, I'm sorry. That only works once. I only had 1 set. I'm glad to see that they made their way to Minster. It is very good that you are here.
Yeah, about that. He looks around at the rest of the party and says, he just decides on the spur of the moment to embrace it and says, we are the heroes to help. We are the heroes here to help. And then looks a little side eye at everybody else, kind of doing the right.
Okay, hold on a second.
He's not trying to deceive. He's just not saying that they didn't specifically see Elminster. Not yet, anyways.
That's fine. That's your call to make. So let's see.
It was which of the brothers was last?
Varric. The paladin.
Thank you.
Oh, just for your notes.
Yep.
And also, I'm not specifically trying to deceive him. I'm also, he seems rather exuberant and excited to see us, and I don't want to crush that if I can help it right away.
Oh, well, that's definitely very considerate of you. But yeah, he's probably also aware of the fact that you're all feeling rather disoriented at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm more interested in making sure I know which way's up, and taking inventory to make sure that I didn't leave too much behind in our mad dash to get away from those trolls.
No, you seem reasonably well prepared. So, and it's not like you guys had set up full camp or anything there. For the most part, everything is intact. Fortunately, you didn't have any mounts or anything outside that you weren't able to bring with you. So that was a alternative scenario that I didn't have to worry about. But he seems perfectly understanding of your current predicament. Realizes that you're out of balance. Nothing about him tends to throw you off or make you feel cautious or concerned about him. He's quite gracious and keeps clasping his hands together and pointing out how realizing that the journey probably was quick, but he also understands that it probably took a lot out of you also. So he's like, please stay, rest. I realize I don't have much room here. You're welcome to stay here, but there's plenty of other places in Brelazar that you can stay as well, where they can offer you more comfort and space than I can. But I won't be quite as cheap, I must say. But we can discuss tomorrow after you've had a chance to rest. But for now, please accept my hospitality.
I'm all about his hospitality.
Me too. I'm looking around all the stuff, magical or shiny stuff in his place.
Yeah, and needless to say, it all looks quite exotic and unusual. As I said, the place has an unusual architecture, and you're only looking at the inside of one building, but lots of fabrics and tapestries on the walls, domed or onion-shaped ceilings, mostly single level with a lot of headroom. Tight quarters, as we noted, but he's not just restricted to the one room. He does have other rooms in the house, and he leads you from the study to a place where there's a little more room, and as a matter of fact, there's a table set out. And at this point, let's see.
I'm not necessarily poking, but I'm looking around at items of value. So I'm going to investigate with my eyes and see if I notice anything.
Meanwhile, he his hands, and a few servants come out. A few simply clothed and dressed ones that come right up to him and wait for him to give his instructions, which he proceeds to do so. Still in a familiar language, he asks them to, with haste, bring out food and condiments and other refreshments. But in addition to the two who approached him forthwith, you also see this guy who steps out and basically just folds his arms and looks over at everything and apparently is standing guard. And Aman stretches out his hand towards him and is like, "Oh, please do not be alarmed. This is my bodyguard, Fuigon. He is here for my protection and is also available for your service as long as you are here under mutual circumstances."
I look over at my brother with a subtle grin.
We could take him.
Just to be clear, he's 8'3".
Yeah!
But he's got a nose ring, and that hurts like a son of a puppy when you yank it.
This is
Dude,
true.
I love how we're on the same freaking page.
So, with that, I guess the party has a choice of either completely screwing with the storyline or more practically hospitality or engaging in additional conversation.
So, well, no, I'm not looking to swap.
I won't mess with the storyline either.
Nothing has changed yet. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing.
I won't mess with the large brute. I just know in my head we could take it.
I guess.
And Elohir, the only thought that came to my mind was, I climb up the leg and stab the dragon in the eye. Which is what our bard did last game.
Yeah, basically. With a little bit more emotional damage, though, to boot.
Shit, the last time I played with a bard, he threw a grappling hook at the dragon's wings and instead got himself caught on the back of the dragon.
Ooh.
Don't know how that happened, but it happened because he rolled a 1.
Anyway, yeah. So we've met the guy. We've met the brute.
Oh, wait a minute.
We have both said with our eyes that we could take him. And
But
again,
leave it
I'm just I am half-heartedly paying attention to the guy, and like I said, just looking at the surroundings. Is there anything that I notice with my roll that I was like, oh?
Certainly quite a few things of value that you would presume are of value. Again, all very ornate and exotic things that you don't recognize. Certainly vessels that are made of brass that you would notice. Like I said, there's tapestries that are intricately woven with designs that you haven't seen before. The smell that's in the air you presume is of an incense of matter that you're not familiar with either. It's strong, it's pungent.
Do I see things that glow with any magical aura? Do I see any of the tapestries possibly hang by themselves without any sort of
nothing that you would immediately discern as magical, not in the room or area where you guys are at least afforded. Nothing glowing, but there are a few vessels, for lack of a better description, not unlike oil lamps that, are adorned with small gems. Some are made of brass, others are made of more valuable or rare metals. So there is some value to them there. But if there is any magic in the room, it is obviously obscured.
Okay.
I make pleasant
Ruben.
conversation. I introduce my own, tell the gentleman my name and ask what his name is.
There we go.
And also compliment him on the wonderful magic that wonderful magic items that we just used. That I've never seen anything like them.
I am Amin al-Rakib, and it is my pleasure to make your acquaintance. I see that Elminster has made a very good selection. And he starts looking up and down at the Goliaths, and then responds directly to to Redreth, who he appreciates as a mage, and says, "Oh, well, yes, thank you very much. There's a contraption of my own making, though I must say it is quite resource intensive in order to make. Not something that I am able to do quite that often."
That was absolutely fabulous. However, now that we're out of his workshop area, we've moved to a more comfortable room. Is that right? We're all kind of just sitting around.
You're basically in a dining room.
Okay. So I just say,
and at this point, trays of food are being handed out in front of you. Well cooked, juicy, tender lamb and goat are being served. Lots of nuts, a variety of nuts, including macadamias, almonds. There's also dates and other tropical kinds of fruits, including papayas. Most of these, a few of them for each of you are ones that you've never seen before, but a few of them with, oh, wow, I've heard of these, or, oh, yeah, I remember tasting this as a kid, or whatever else. But most of the food, the lamb and goat you guys have had before, but it's considered very, very rare and, for special occasions, whereas this seems to be a more common selection. Either that or this guy lives very opulently, or a combination of both.
Is there any way to check to see if any of this is drugged?
I don't know. Do you have any way of telling that?
I don't know. I don't even know where to begin to look for that.
Well, it's a matter
I'm going to ask him. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's a matter of knowing what abilities you might use in terms of, I mean, it can be as simple as, hey, I'm going to use my insight check to see whether or not I trust him or if he seems suspicious in any manner. There are there are spells that allow you to tell whether or not people are telling the truth or lying to you, or whether or not they're evil or good intentioned.
Well, being a paladin, I'd be able to tell that whether or not, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. I believe there is.
There might be a bonus to it or something. My thought was survival check to be able to see if you smell your ability to smell common poisons in food.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, I'm
And
not
then,
trying to say that this guy's trying to poison us, but
I know there's nothing wrong with being cautious. I mean, you can't go overkill. It's like, oh, I know that the door isn't trapped, and if we never leave the room, nothing can never happen to us. And it's just, yeah, you can take it to an extreme, and that's just not going to obviously get us anywhere.
Yeah,
But
it slows
I
down.
look around at the group and see how comfortable our paladin is with the slight deception we're running right now, because he thinks we were sent by Elminster and we actually have never met Elminster. And so I'm just seeing if the paladin is worried about that at all, because I want to straighten things out with him to make sure that we start off on the right foot,
Mm-hmm. No,
so
absolutely reasonable, and yeah, you're really not being quite deceptive at this point. But yeah, I get what you're saying. You're not.
I'm completely fine with the way he went. I'm completely fine the way Redrith went about it. I mean, not giving up too much, but not giving out too much either. So.
Right.
And I'm still kind of walking around, arms folded, looking at all the exotic items around the room. Obviously, like I said, I'm looking at everything, not known to everybody. I'm actually looking for its value, but I'm going to ask him, Magic Tinkerer, are your skills available for hire if we see fit? Or if we see
before he can get that out, I say, Mr. Aman, or how should I address you? I just ask him what's the best way to address him, and I say, we have the letter that you sent to Elminster, although I want to be completely frank and say that we have actually not talked to Elminster. We actually found your cubes and both scrolls in a troll cave after we had defeated the troll. And I kind of let that sink in for a minute and see what kind of a reaction I get from him. I'm not sure if his messenger was captured by the troll or exactly what, but I just wanted to be completely honest and completely frank with you about that. And so I have a feeling I probably will get a reaction from my party mates also by being so frank with him.
Okay. Well, before you actually get into that discussion with him, let's step back a second to everyone's impression and gut feeling thing. Because at least the paladin wanted to do so. And with that in mind...
Would it be a medicine check?
Not. Oh, you mean for the food?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, actually, that would just probably be a simple survival check.
Survival? Okay, I'll do that.
So yeah, in your case, go ahead and do a survival check first of all. And you smell nothing unusual or disconcerting. It smells delicious to you, as a matter of fact, and you're anxious to sink your teeth into something that's fresh, warm. Even when you don't have trail rations, it's usually a loaf of bread and some sausage soup or something like that. So, having this feast in front of you is just like, oh, I haven't eaten like this in weeks, if not months, maybe even years. So
and just so we're clear, my motivation for being forthright with him is because I feel like I'm in the presence of like a demigod because of how cool the magic stuff was.
Yep.
And so it's kind of like, ooh shiny, this person I may be able to learn a bunch from. I want to make sure that, you know, I don't mess that whole thing up, basically.
all right. So with that, I would like all of you to make a perception check, and this one can be outside the tower.
I redeemed myself.
Eric, you roll, even though you rolled it in a tower. Okay. You rolled twice. Okay, the one that you rolled in the tower was actually a 1.
Are you talking about for the?
Oh, that was the survival check. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I rolled a 1 on survival.
Yep.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So, with that in mind, and getting the 20 on the perception, and actually all of you did really well. So, with that in mind, please all do roll an insight check, but that should be in the tower.
Okay. Let me guess. That's a 1 too.
Now, this one's going to be a little more difficult. So, let's see. Kaeli and Varric and Haig all feel very, very comfortable around Amon. You feel like right off the bat, this is someone that you can trust. Redreth, despite your enamor for him, you're not quite as trusting of him. Something is just like, and it may have to do about, you know, that you believe he thinks that you guys are someone else. So that might have something to do with your hesitancy, but you're not as like, you know, oh yeah, whatever he wants, we
Oh, okay. Then I probably wouldn't have said what I had said previously.
Mizram, on the other hand, he's not sure what to trust at the moment. He's still very much disoriented and kind of has a bad feeling about things, but Miz, you're not sure whether it's about him or the situation or where you guys are, but Miz, what you do notice is that it is unusually warm, even though it's the middle of the night. Oh, and by the way, Miz, are you still in cat form this whole time?
Yeah. I stay in cat form. The only time I ever
guess it would
take
depend
human
on the
form
guy's
unless I
room, right?
absolutely need to.
Okay, so you're basically sitting next to or between the two brothers?
Yeah, or next to the elven companion, whichever I feel safer by, I will sit near. Well, behave. I'll just act like like one of their pets. I'll just act well behaved, like yeah, I'm just following their orders.
Well, I would definitely say Redreth and Kaeli are a lot less likely to crush your tail if they move their chair onto it.
Oh, awesome.
Do we even know what time of day it is? I mean, teleportation, we could have gone anywhere. It could be any time of day.
2:03 a.m. It's right there. He put it the date.
Yes. I know what the timestamp says. I just want to know, do our characters know this?
You actually do, because you actually do, because there are windows in the parapets and the dome ceilings, so you can see that it is dark out. And if that's not
okay,
he also happens to have a small collection.
Sundials?
Not a clustered collection. Well, sundials aren't going to work, but he seems to have in a few places in the house hourglasses. And they actually have delineations on them. So again, time of day, you know, there's no concept of marking hour to hour in a medieval setting, but you have an idea of the rough time of day that it's, a few
Middle
hours.
of the night.
It's a few hours past midnight.
Okay.
So like maybe one, you can figure out, not that you would know it's 2:03, but you figure out probably about 2 hours after midnight. It's probably about 3 or 4 hours until dawn.
Okay.
We must have rolled horribly if we're comfortable with this dude and everybody else is not so comfortable.
No meta.
Honestly, it's just kind of part of Kal-Ali's personality is that, it's just kind of what is. There's not much you can do about it.
That's true.
So it doesn't surprise me that she's willing to trust this guy without knowing hardly anything about him.
Now, but also to point out to you what you were saying about rolling horribly, it could go either way. Either you rolled well and you're accurately at discerning his character, or you rolled poorly and you're inaccurately discerning his character.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. I thought about that too.
I still want to know if I can take advantage of his skills at a later time if need be. I'm still asking him, are your skills for hire if we find the need in the future? Obviously, you have high magical power to be able to enchant cubes for teleportation.
There are some enchantments that I might be able to assist you with, but I do not travel. My adventuring days are long since over.
Are you saying it's difficult to return here?
I'll be right back.
Are you asking him whether or not he can give you another set of cubes?
No. I want to know if he can enchant other things at higher levels and what the level of his. If he can enchant cubes, obviously he's pretty powerful. If he can enchant teleportation cubes, obviously he said he didn't have many and it wasn't a very easy task. But if we needed some magic help with discerning an item or creating an item in the future, I want to know if he's able and willing to be hired for that purpose in the future.
Oh, he is more than willing to. As far as identifying items, he's like, do you have anything out that you need help identifying? Perhaps I could do so now.
I don't think we have anything.
I'm going to look at KLLE because I think, if I remember correctly, I can't remember. My gut is to turn to KLLE because she is keeping track of what we have, letting her answer the question.
I don't think we have anything right now.
I don't think so neither.
And one more.
Yeah.
One more perception check. This one from Redreth.
He just stepped away.
Oh, that's right. All right, we'll wait for him to come back. See.
No, I got it. Just a sec. In the tower or in the clear?
In the tower. I hate passive perception. Oh, beautiful.
I also want to, what I want to do is I want to insight him too. As if I can backtrack a little bit, can I insight his answer to my question about his willingness and ability? Is he underplaying his ability?
Well, let me respond to the perception roll that you just rolled on.
Very good.
While you were having this discussion and you guys were all enjoying your food and whatnot, at one point, he looks over to the leg of lamb that's sitting on the far end of the table from him. And rather than asking his servants or any of you to bring it on over, he just waves his hand and it levitates up and drifts towards him.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
So he's got some power.
He's got skills.
With casual use of with such casual use of spells, yeah, he's got power.
And then go ahead and roll the insight on his response to your inquiry.
Good.
Yeah, this guy's basically bending over backwards to accommodate you guys. He obviously has a great deal of confidence in you. Whether or not it's misplaced or not, you guys can continue to debate personally. But yeah, he seems like you're the answer to his prayers.
But for what reason? Okay.
I guess it would not be too much to suggest to you as DM that it does appear the concept that the cubes may have landed in someone else's hand has not occurred to him.
Or it doesn't matter
Okay.
to him.
Almost as if it's like fate.
Okay.
But both are very plausible.
Jeez, wonder what the heck's going on here.
There's your ride, Dan.
Yeah. Well, the fire siren just went off. Did it go off in Kinesis? Can you hear it when it does?
It did not go off here.
Right. Interesting. Okay. So again, you said it. I'm fully comfortable. I'm just eating. At this point, I'm sitting down eating away. I've taken an inventory of a rough inventory of the value of the room that we'll discuss later, I guess.
That's pretty much
What
what I'm
did
doing.
my-
Sitting here chilling, eating.
What did my perception roll learn me?
Oh, that's what
Perception was the leg of lamb.
Yeah, that's what the perception roll
Ah, okay.
picked up on. Was there anything else? Nope. So, for the most part, you guys find him trustworthy. He's willing to be helpful. He's
Trustworthy, but there's more to it.
well, yeah. He's obviously not, spilling all the beans, but he seems to be rather forthcoming. You don't feel like he's hiding any information at this point. He's expressed that he's not willing to travel, but he is willing to help you with whatever resources that he has. He's giving you a delicious meal. He's offered you board, but he has basically, without saying so directly, that he doesn't really have room for everyone unless you don't mind carpets and rugs.
Can I ask the main question? I mean, what is this quest that supposedly we are supposed to go on for him? Because I mean, that's basically what this whole thing is about.
I almost forgot. Yes, indeed, you are not from this desert. There's such a long and lengthy history between the Rorendi and the party, but
When he says desert, I look at Varric real quick, like, I don't want to be in the desert.
There's such a long history, but actually this goes back more than 1,000 years to the age of a great wizard that far dwarfed my power as he stood, and perhaps even could have given elements to run for his money back at the time. But I digress. For as much as Martek foretold of this, he probably is not going to be very much part of your story. But you will hopefully find the clues that he has left behind.
Mishram, thinking really carefully, thinking about his dreams and why he gathered these people, and thinking this could be the person to put them on the track to finding what they need in to help the elven people.
Hey, hold on. I need to.
And also, Mizram will nudge one of Goliath's legs and look at the leg of lamb and go, and then like tilt his head to the floor, like say, "Hey, chuck me a piece, please."
I'll grab you a piece and toss it. Grab you one of the legs and give you a toss.
And I'll jump up and catch it, and then go around in circles, all happy.
So he begins to explain that several months ago I came across a old book, a tome of sorts that some adventurers not unlike yourself had found, and it had come into my possession, but required a great deal of research and transcription before I was able to figure out what it was. And apparently, as I had originally suspected, it was indeed a manuscript that had been put together by the great Martek. But alas, and he looks over at Redreth, it was not a spell book as I had hoped, but instead a detail of a prophecy that he had foretold, and which I believe is actually due to pass in the very near future. And certainly your arrival only further cements that notion. Because now that you are here, the events must be happening as he intended or expected.
How long ago did you send your letter?
Oh, say about 3 months ago. 3 moons ago, excuse me.
3 months. How much time do we have until the? How much time do we have until?
There's no way of telling.
Period.
Only a sequence of events can tell as the time draws near. A few of the signs have appeared, but the rest have yet to fulfill themselves. And as you know, any prophecy is that is shared, it never fulfills.
So I guess we'll need to know the details of the prophecy and which signs have already completed.
Well, what I do know is that. All right, let me make sure I do not reveal more than I should here.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to focus on reading rather than role playing it out because I don't want to spill too much. All right, so Martek's greatest claim to fame in legend is that he is responsible for saving this land from the ravages of an Efreet Pasha named Kalatarius. So not an ordinary Efreet, but actually one of the elite viziers that served the Fire Sultan on the Plain of Fire. Kalatarius could not be defeated, but Martek was able to successfully imprison him. but he
Fire
foretold,
demon.
basically, but he foretold that Calatarius would one day escape his bonds and return and ravage the land. And the only way to defeat him would be with Martek's sphere of power. His sphere of power lies buried with the Archmage. It is your goal to find
Lovely.
his tomb and retrieve the sphere of power so that Calatarius can be destroyed or hopefully at least bested once again.
Redrith, even though, as I've been thinking a little bit here about his history and his, his upbringing being an elf and used to being around people of power and position, because he's a wizard, all of this talk of the sphere of power and being a powerful artifact, and his eyes are shining, and he's practically got tears in his eyes of excitement over this, pursuing this artifact.
As a wizard should be. All right. So, with that bit of information, unless there's anything else you want to ask him, I would suggest now is a good time for a 8-hour rest, some party confab, and I need to take a stretch break.
No, that's okay.
Sounds good.
Copy that.
Just to let you know, Keith, I appreciate the little Easter eggs you dropping in the campaign.
I'm glad you're enjoying them, man. I try as much as possible.
And they're all going over my head because I just started with 5th edition.
No, I think he's referring to a few other things, but yeah, I think there's a lot to the storyline. One of the reasons why I really enjoy this one, and I've been having a blast converting it to the 5th edition, and hope you guys want to enjoy it as much as I've. This is first time I'm doing it in Fantasy Grounds, first time I'm doing a 5e conversion, but probably the 5th group of players that I've played through it.
Sweet. I like it so far. You got Beauty and the Beast. And then, of course, my brother who wants to be a poo.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely am looking forward to fleshing out the Goliath twin. You guys are twins, right? Not just brothers?
Just brothers.
Just brothers.
He's the older brother.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm looking forward to fleshing them out a little bit more because I see a lot of opportunity there. But yeah, so quick 10-minute break. We'll do the 8-hour or the full rest, the long rest when I come back. So think about any preparatory or anything you want to do before you sleep, and then I'll trigger that and we'll advance the clock. But unless you guys want to do otherwise, I'm going to presume that you guys are just going to be happy camping it on the plush rugs.
Yeah.
Compared to
that
the
works for
troll,
me.
compared to the troll cave, this is fabulous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you'll obviously have a very full and content stomach. So, but yeah, probably
Yeah,
make
if we wait.
until you have a chance to explore the rest of town. All right.
Yeah, I would just tell the group before we're going to bed, I think we're probably in the same area. He has a lot of valuables in this place.
See, a poo.
No, not. I'm just saying there's a lot of opportunity for, I'm sure he's got a lot of stuff, but I really like this guy. My thoughts are if we can befriend him, we may be able to use him to, he's obviously very strong. We may be able to get, if we ever got residuum or something that we can break down, he may be able to plus our weapons and armor. If you made him a somebody that we could befriend, it may benefit us immensely in the long run.
I hear what you're saying. Do we know where we're supposed to begin on this quest yet, or not a clue?
I don't think he's given us specific details. We'll probably have to get him in the morning.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So,
Because
till the
I'm
morning?
all about doing this quest.
Oh, yeah. So till the AM.
Till the AM. And if we're all hogtied, I'm sorry. I tried to warn us, but I couldn't. I rolled a 1.
Well, and technically I'm an elf, so elves don't sleep. I just do the 4-hour trance.
Okay then.
And it's a light meditation, so I can come out of it if anybody comes in to disturb us or something like that.
Nobody do anything until the dog's back in this house now.
Is that Dan?
Yeah, he's yelling at his kids.
Yeah, he didn't mute his mic either.
With 8 on the way. Did he tell you that?
Yeah, that's insane.
Insane. That's beyond insane.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, everybody's giving him crap about it, but I get it. There's nothing they can do about it. They were trying to be careful.
Right.
And now he's deciding to go get himself snipped. Yeah, didn't think about that the last time around.
Right. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, it is what
I told him
it is.
he's totally got to upgrade to the Partridge Family bus or something like that.
He's in crows. He's gonna have to do something because those vans that you're talking about are not cheap. Those are expensive vans.
Yep.
And we actually were pricing some out like a couple of years ago, and they're quite expensive. But you're right though. That's what they're gonna have to do. Get a Partridge van.
Well, the Honda van they have right now, that's certainly not going to do the trick. So
the only ones that are making those kind of vans too are Chevy, I do believe. So they're like
just
4
get an
rows
old
or
school bus, call it good.
Yeah, you could get like a small bus, a small yellow bus.
That's true.
You actually might get a deal on that, depending on who knows at the school.
That's pretty funny.
Hurry up.
I don't think Disney's put anything new on there, to be honest with you. Well, Inhumans is new.
Ian, you've got 30 seconds to have your clothes on ready to walk the street. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17.
Can we count with them?
15, 14, 13, 12.
That's pretty funny.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pick the street with fear in and start walking. Aiden! Evan! What are you doing? What's taking you so long? You've been doing it for 5 minutes. You and Aiden get shoes. Why didn't you hook the dog up to the thing when you took her out back? I don't care who you pass it off to. You didn't do the responsible thing. Aiden says he's over checking the library. You then go up with him and tell him to walk Washington Street and find the dog.
Hi, where are you?
You left your mic on, dude.
It's
Yeah, you
fine.
did.
The dog is loose because Kieran was too busy
Oh, gee.
trying to get off to go walking with Gigi and who's the girl from down the street, Jim?
Kendall. Yeah.
Kendall. He was too busy to go with Gigi and Kendall that he said, first off, he said he passed the dog off to Aiden. Now he's saying he passed the dog off to Ian. And now the dog is somewhere in the town of Livonia running around with her leash around her neck.
Oh,
Good
boy.
times.
Oh, gotta love it.
Yep. We've got our dog blocked in. Otherwise, she'd just be going walkabout down on the street and over to the neighbors and all that kind of
Well,
stuff. I hear
she's
ya.
fine if somebody's paying attention to her, but nobody paid attention to her, so she went off. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I got Evan walking around the whole house in wet clothes because they went to play with the hose outside since it's beautiful out.
It is nice out. It's like almost 96 degrees, 97 degrees here.
I
Wow,
don't think I'd
that's-
use the word nice.
Yeah, it's like almost 70
that
here.
is nice. I'm
That is
sitting
nice.
in
It's
a
a dry
basement that's probably maybe 60 degrees.
Yes. Now we're talking.
Yeah, it's what 60 something here, and it was sunny earlier, so it was warmer. But now it's clouded over a bit, so it's not quite as warm as it was.
Yep.
But we had my father-in-law delivered a pile of mulch for us, so we instead of water, we've got the remnants of dirty mulch tracked all over the house right now. So I've got a sweeping job to do after we're done.
That's
We
intriguing.
have a map.
I know, I noticed.
We have a map that does not fit on my screen.
It's kind of too big.
Fortunately, you can resize it.
Okay.
By the lower right corner, you can, if you put your mouse right on the edge, you'll see the arrows appear, and you can resize it down, and then just grab anywhere in the map. You can drag it. If you have a middle mouse button, you can use the middle mouse button to pan. Otherwise, you can use the little toggle button in the lower right corner.
Can't
That's a
read
cool
it,
looking
though.
map, though.
We kind of have to decipher it.
Yeah.
Do that.
And not only that, we kind of have to figure out where the heck we are also. We know that we're in the desert, but we don't have a clue where we are. Well, unless somebody else has a clue where they are.
And Eric, you realize that we are not going to be happy here, right? Our favorite terrain is
because
mountains and slightly cold.
Correct. So being in the desert is not our thing.
Not our thing.
I haven't bothered to look for stars or anything.
We haven't been able to do nothing.
I mean, as a person, I think I know where we are, but as a player, no. So, in real life, yes or no, but me from.
Okay,
Well, if we get to fight a Chinese dragon, I'm all in.
1 second.
Magic stuff, I'm all in regardless.
I hear you. Well, we already know that. You've had a couple nerd orgasms already.
Well, at least the best thing about working for this person is you're gonna well equipped us when we need it. So you got the tools of the trade to do it.
It's true.
Okay, sorry. They found the dog. Oh,
How far did it go?
3 houses down Washington Street.
That's not too bad.
It wasn't
Could have been a
terrible.
lot worse.
She was playing with a couple of girls that were playing outside down the street.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
You're on speaker.
Any luck?
Yeah, they found her.
Oh, well, I wish you told me. I'm sitting here driving around.
They only found her 30 seconds before you called me. They called me 30
Where
seconds
was
before
she?
you did. 3 houses down Washington Street.
Oh, that's where she normally goes. That's where I am now. I went the opposite way of them just to. Okay.
Love you back.
Well, you got everybody settled there. I'm going to keep these two with me and go get the Walmart order.
Okay.
Tell Karen he can make them peanut butter and jelly for lunch. That's what Aiden wanted me to make.
I'm gonna.
Huh? What?
I don't. There's no proof that Kieran didn't do
Can't hear
due
you.
diligence to get his stuff done.
Karen was told
Yeah,
that
we're-
the dog needed to be hooked up to.
There you go.
Much
Thank you,
better.
right.
Well, at least his pet dog didn't do what my friend Pet Dog used to do. He used to get away from the kids. He used to hide in under the kitchen cupboard.
Very true. Very true. Oh,
Okay,
he's
I'm
ready.
back.
Click if you're ready.
Welcome back.
Ready check is up. Just to make sure everyone's here.
Yep, I spotted it this time. And
I think we're
nice
waiting on
map, by
Dave
the way.
now.
Did you create this map yourself, Keith?
Yes, I did.
I like the
Very,
wood
very
background.
nice.
It looks like you put it on an old picnic table.
On a what?
On an old picnic table. It looks like the map's on an old picnic table.
That was the idea. It's supposed to be on an old wooden table.
Yeah, see, that's cool.
Thank you. Glad you like it.
Oh, we all checked, so Dan's ready to go.
I would suggest that you guys make use of the bookmark features or the function keys in the bottom and drag this map down to the bottom,
Oh, okay.
because you're going to want to be able to reference it throughout the campaign. And
How do we?
there will be more things like this. So in case you didn't know, you can extend your function keys with any combination of Control, Shift, and Alt. I would dedicate a whole bar like all of the alts or controls.
Yeah, I mean, what I find easier is to make a journal in Notepad and then just type maps and quests and like rumors and all that kind of stuff. And then any important information, just drag it and drop it into those selected categories.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Other side.
Yeah, Alex, I hope you don't mind, but I really want to try to do 4-hour sessions since we're only meeting every other week. So,
Okay.
if you want to leave, I'm not going to hold it against you, but I do want to continue to run for another, we got another hour and 20 minutes.
If we can, Keith, can we meet in the middle and do 2:30? Because I also told my wife probably around 2.
Okay, I think we can do so. That gives us another hour.
Yeah. I'll have that number in my head for next time so I can I have my wife and my father waiting on me. So.
Okay, yeah, no, I can totally be flexible, but yeah, I would like to push for the 4-hour sessions since we don't meet as often.
Very good.
Because you just don't get that much done in 2 hours a week, you know?
It's true.
No, you don't. I find though that 3-ish is about my attention span limit.
Well, we do 3, don't we?
Well,
Yeah,
three.
usually 3 is a good number.
Well, we had been doing 3 every week, but since we're doing every other week,
Oh, I see.
only
Okay.
doing
Right,
3
right.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
So is she leaving us then in 20 minutes or no?
I know we agreed we're going to go to for another 50 minutes. So we're going to go half
Okay.
the hour.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, this one is. I agree. This one is pretty good so
Mhm.
far. It's been a good one.
I'm glad you're having fun. All right.
Absolutely.
So, before you guys actually crash out for the night, does fill you in on a little bit more information. First of all, he shares with you this map that he came across while researching and discovering the prophecy. He tells you this map was made 1,000 years ago, so the features he's not sure where it matches up with, but supposedly is some part of the desert that will help you find where you need to be. So, and the desert, he does point out that the desert, also referred to as the desert of Rorin. And with that, please go ahead, everyone, do an intelligence check. But the town of Bralazar lies just south of the Dust Wall, which is a large mountain range that separates the Rorin Desert from this part of the world. And let's see. Among all of you, Haig is the only one who recognizes the Rorin Desert as a desert that is far, far to the southeast of the Sword. More than 1,000, probably close to 2,000 leagues away. Stories, you've heard of stories of things like genies and flying carpets and things really, really unusual, but for the rest of us, what we consider an Arabian setting, just abound as you start realizing what part of the world you've been transported to and how far away you are. He also points out that he goes into more detail about, well, you're going to need to find the tomb. How to find the tomb, he can't really tell you. He believes that the clues are going to be revealed as parts of the prophecy continue to manifest themselves. And he can't even fill you in on the entire prophecy because he's still deciphering it. And hence he doesn't know much about it. But he does know that you are going to have to find several parts of some item, object, key, something that there's more than one of that you will need to get into the tomb. And if you don't have them all, you'll never get out.
Interesting.
Does he know? So he doesn't know what items we will need. So there's no guarantee we have all the items before we go in. And if we don't have all the items before we go in, we can't get out.
All he can tell you is that the best he can translate the references is that they're stars. The stars will give you will give the group, the heroes, whoever, will give them access. And there's some references to star keys or another star reference, but he hasn't been able to translate that.
But what about the amount? Is there anything on the map that says how many keys we may need?
It's a handful, but he hasn't been able to be sure. He's not.
Okay.
He's guessing somewhere between 2 and maybe 8.
Just
Possibly as many as 10.
Just to let the rest of you lot know, you might want to consider getting a modern map of the area we're in. So when we're traveling and trying to solve puzzles on this map, we can use a modern map to know nearby location we go to get supplies if we need to. Because obviously the places obviously probably don't exist on the map no more, so we're going to probably need to hit certain locations at some point, because obviously a desert is a harsh place.
Agreed.
And with that, hearing that discussion, he says, indeed, finding your way through the desert is quite difficult. You may want to consider enlisting the assistance of the Sand Voyagers Guild, who regularly runs caravans through the desert north to the oasis of White Palm and eventually through to the northern territories of Finascool and Geldeneth, and I'm forgetting the name of the third place. But basically, it's a good several hundred, possibly almost 1,000 miles across the desert to the centers of trade, which connect here. Baralazar apparently is relatively well-to-do, but it is the last bastion of civilization before the desert and the coastal cities all the way on the other side of it. As far as a map of the area, none of you know it that well. Let me see if I can find something quick that would give you a rough idea, though, of what you would know of the area. Whoops, wrong one. He does
So
point
far,
out,
the risk reward ratio does not appeal to me, guys. 2 to 8, possibly 10 keys. And if we don't have them all, we can't get out. Does not sound good to me.
But the sphere. That's all I keep saying is the sphere. Think that right at the beginning of Indiana Jones, when he's in the temple and he's got the little gold statue on the thing and he's sitting right in front of it, just looking at it, deciding whether to, what to do with it. That's pretty much where I'm at on this.
But at that time, he wholeheartedly believed he could get out.
But also,
I'm not even thinking about getting back out. I'm just zoned in on getting the sphere. That's where I'm glad you're thinking about it, because I'm not. I'm just like the sphere, the sphere, the sphere, the sphere.
But also, don't forget, I've been using my dreams to guide us so far. So hopefully, the dreams will lend us some insight every now and again when we need it.
Do you have faith? Well, you're still kitty, right?
Yes, but I'm just reminding you as players that I have been leading you so far with dreams to reach our goal so far.
What do you think, Varric?
All I could hear was fear. I'm sorry, I'm being bombarded with other things going on, but trying to listen. I heard something about a sphere. I heard, obviously, Red Dress get excited and nerd orgasm over there.
Yeah, so it came
So the info we're being given is that we need keys that could be star keys or some sort of keys. He knows there's a minimum of 2, but could be as many of 10 keys. And if we don't have all the keys before we go into temple or dungeon or whatever, we can't get out.
Okay.
All right. Give me a call
So basically we gotta try and find these keys.
And we don't know how many we need. So we could locate
The first thing we
7
need to
keys.
figure out is how many we need.
Yeah, I think so. I don't want to go in until we know we have all the
And
keys.
Amin doesn't have a clue how many keys, right?
He does not.
So now Redreth, being a researcher as a feature, says when you attempt to learn or recall a piece of lore, if you do not know that information, you often know where and from whom you can obtain it. So I'm not sure if any of that would apply at this point, Keith, but...
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Well, one of the features of my character is he's a researcher. And when I attempt to learn or recall a piece of lore, if you do not know that information, you often know where and from whom you can obtain it. Now, this is a little bit different because we're in a completely different part of the world than I'm used to, but I'm just wondering if the instinct for researching could help us determine how many of those keys we actually need to obtain.
In answer to the direct question, would it be able to help you? Yes. Does it help you specifically at this moment? No. Your confidence that it will aid you as you discover more of the prophecy is probably pretty high.
Do
Now,
we know where any of the keys are located as of right now?
well, he indicated to you that the more information about it would probably become revealed as elements of the prophecy are revealed. And elements of the prophecy are going to be notable events, things that are happening out there for whatever reason. So he's suggesting that actually you start your quest or your investigation by going to the, what is it, the Inn of the White Palm, which is just west of his villa. Inn of the Golden Palm, sorry. And, talk to the locals, listen to, what's been going on, find out from the travelers who have just come back from the desert, what's happening out there. If there's something major going on, there probably will be talk of it. As far as, let's see, what else you would also know. In Discord, again, in the campaign play channel, I have posted a generic map of Western Faerun, but a pretty extensive one that goes from the Sword Coast, which is where you guys are familiar with most of the 5e campaign, all the way over on the west side. And all the way on the east side, just above the legend, you will see some orange, yellowish sand area surrounded by mountains. That is Roaring, also known as the Desert of Desolation and the Plains of Purple Dust. So you know that the desert, where the desert is relative to over there, but of course you guys being so far away, you certainly don't know any of the details inside that region. Now, you might be able to find someone that has a map that you can quote unquote carry with you. But, cartography is not exactly a common nor cheap skill in this day and age. So you might be stuck with discovering much of this on your own. Now, that being said, you will have maps to work with. For starters, though you have yet to explore Bralazar, I'm gonna have to fix that.
So that kind of sounds like what we probably need to go ahead and do first is to explore our surroundings, get an idea where we're at, listen to local lores, listen to what people
You
are
guys talk it
saying.
over. I'll be right back. I've got a couple of crying kids I got to deal with. So I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
I don't mind searching the village, but I'm not jumping into shit without making sure we have all the keys.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
Agreed.
Better heads prevail. But it's not a bad idea to find out where, we zapped ourselves somewhere in Brazil or whatever this place is that we are. Nobody seems to know anything about it.
Oh, we're at this is before or after the rest, you said, Keith?
This is before you guys actually take the rest, as he's finishing up the you,
Oh,
sure.
trying to provide you with information, giving you some background. And he doesn't want to indicate that anything, that no one knows anything. He does point out that the Sam Voyager's caravan does go through a couple of places in the desert. There is an oasis about halfway through the desert called the Oasis of White Palm. That's actually a pretty busy trading post. It certainly isn't as big as Bralazar, but basically everything that goes through the desert goes through there, including the Sam Voyager's caravan. And if anyone, another thing that he brings up, and this is probably important for background information, Alex, is that there are two primary people in the desert that you will run into, the Rorindi and the Durpari. Let me make sure I get them right so I don't mix them up, because otherwise that's just going to be really, really bad. Here we go. All right, so the Rorindi are the older people who lived here many thousands of years ago and were the ones that were here in the land when Martek basically saved them. The Dapari are the more recent settlers who have basically come in from lands in the north as a result of wanting to trade and capitalize on the resources of the region. And there have been some conflicts along the way. The Dapari have basically taken over through cultural assimilation, but there are still a few Rorindi around. You'll even find a few of them in town here. As a country or a united group of people, they no longer exist, but as a culture, there still are a few of them left. And if there's anyone that would know about the legend and lore and history of the land, he's pointing out, yeah, go seek out the Dupari dervishes. They're the Warindi dervishes.
The Rorindi are the old school. The Dupari have moved in and kind of taken over the culture.
Correct. And of course, there's a big religious difference between them because the Rorindi were polytheistic, whereas the Dupari, who basically run the town and have taken over, they worship the one god Anu.
Which god?
Anu, A-N-U.
Anu. Okay.
And to quote, referring to the Rorindi, they're called dervishes. They are aliens, outcasts, and even outlaws wherever they go. In fact, because they feel that their God has turned away from them and relegating them to the desert, not only do they worship the old religions, but they now fanatically protect the religious freedoms and holy places of all people, whatever their practices or beliefs. They hate robbers of graves and tombs and protect such places from infidels tending to make encampments nearby. So the best way to think of these is, have all of you seen the movie The Mummy with Brendan Fraser?
Yes.
absolutely.
A minute ago.
So yeah, oh God, I can't think of what they were called in the movie, but his Egyptian friend that was the prince that had all of the secret society of horsemen that helped them in the wars. I can't think of the name of them, but if you've seen the movie, that's probably the best way to think of the Rorindi is, the secret sect of warriors that are kind of faded into the shadows, but really are kind of outcast or looked down upon.
Yeah, if I remember correctly from what I've read from Forgotten Realm books, they definitely protect all the hidden spots, not only from looters, but from releasing dangerous things that not meant to be released, have been sealed away long ago.
All right,
So,
I guess
yeah.
Another good comparison for those of you who into religious lore.
National treasure.
I was going to say the Priory of Sion, but I guess that wouldn't be too far off either. I think Priory of Sion is talked about in Da Vinci Code or Angels and Demons, one of those two.
Da Vinci Code.
Oh yeah, Da Vinci Code. Yeah, I only say National Treasure because those guys were all wearing those Messianic rings, and they were trying to keep stuff hush hush.
Yeah, I mean, winning their trust is gonna be really hard.
But basically, obviously, they know the most about the desert because they're sworn to protect the desert.
Is it the Magi?
Magi, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
So kind of a good way to think of them, just a little bit more outcast, and well, I guess they are both secretive, but I would say the Magi are probably more revered when they are revealed, whereas the Depari are more considered. The Rorindy are more considered outcasts and outlaws, and vestiges of an old faith. Not unlike the Jedi in the days of the First Order.
Right.
They don't ride scorpions, do they?
Camels and horses are your option, and even with that, just Aman offers to you if you need camels or horses, whatever your preference. Though he recommends the camels, he'd be more than happy to provide them to you for your journey.
It'd be cool if we could ride giant scorpions.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe that'll come down later.
And brother, camels don't taste very good after you break them back, but they're back with our weight. So we would be, I think, a little heavy for the camels.
I hear that. So we'd have to probably go with a horse.
War horse, maybe. I don't think we ride. Honestly, I don't think we ride very often.
Well, we don't ride very often, but I mean, what are we gonna walk?
I ain't giving you a piggyback ride.
I'm not giving you a piggyback ride neither. That's why I said giant scorpions.
What, right about now, I'm so glad I'm a druid because I am so gonna shrink myself into a desert, small little desert cat, and then just sit on whoever's lap, and then just get a hitch ride through the desert. Yay!
There you go.
For me.
Okay, apologies for the delay. I am back now. What did I miss?
Just a description of the difference between the Rorendi and the Dupari, right?
Magi.
Dupari are pretty much the sect that came in and took over, assimilated into the culture and have taken over the culture. The Rorendi are the old school group that cling to a polytheistic religion. They have kind of faded into the shadows, and they are similar to the Magi in The Mummy, the group of people that are looked as the bad guy, but then turned to be the good guys protecting something sacred at the end. Who knows if they're going to do that in this one, but that's the description given.
Plus, we're going to have to look into riding camels or horses, probably camels.
We were offered camels for our trip by Aman.
Yeah.
He offered you both, but he recommended camels.
There you go.
Right. I'm trying to get
Do we
giant
know
scorpions,
where our
but that's not working.
Do we know where our first stop is?
The nearest village to the west.
Well, we still have to check out the village that we're in.
Are we in a village? Are we in a village? We're still inside the house. We don't know what's around us.
All right. I did share the city map, but you still have some exploration to do to figure out exactly what and where you are here.
Okay.
So if we're ready, then we should probably get started.
I'm trying to think if there's. So he's given you the map. He's given you the background on them. He's warned you about traveling in the desert. And again, he did suggest you may want to consider the Sand Voyagers Guild and the caravans that they run through the desert. even if you don't travel with them,
Oh, Eric.
he isn't exactly selling you on the idea of going with them. He makes a point of saying, yeah, they're going to be expensive. You may not want to trust them, but they do know their way through the desert. But even if you don't rely upon them, their track through the desert is going to probably be your best bet to keep from getting lost. And he points out that the Sand Voyagers Trail is marked with small red flags every mile or so.
Okay.
Basically, humans don't have much of a chance, but elven eyesight should be able to see the next flag from each previous flag.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to want native or at least local help outfitting ourselves for this journey.
Yeah, we need a whole lot more information. So rest and start asking questions. What do you think?
Well, yeah, it's still the middle of the night. We should probably get some rest. And then
Start out in the
we're
morning.
gonna need all the information we can get about this prophecy so that we can figure out where we're gonna go next.
Yeah, well, we've got to go to the gold. What was the name of that place that he said that where all the people go to talk about the gold something? Where we can actually go and listen to people talk about maybe or know of the prophecy.
He had recommended the Inn of the Golden Palm,
That's it, Golden Palm.
which he said is just a little bit west of here. And I should probably point out so you guys know. All right, first of all, I just shared another map with you. It's going to probably take a minute or so to load. This map is big. This is the overland map that we're going to be using through the campaign. So it gives you some idea of scale and direction, which you would be able to discern from what he's told you. Also on the Bralazar map, whoops. I just exposed the compass rose, so you realize that north is actually to the right, not up. All right, so any last minute prep before we do the long rest?
I think everything I want to do is after we sleep, so. Oh, I just closed that without saving it. I'll get it next time.
Which one?
The overland map. Thank you. Thank you. I'm assuming we're done with the mountain cave.
Yes, I don't think we'll be coming back to that one.
Very good.
Not anytime soon, anyway. All right, so I'm going to trigger the long rest.
Okay. I was going to ask if Haig needed any healing before he did his long rest.
Do we need?
Won't he get his healing during the long rest?
Yeah, don't we heal during?
A little bit, but not fully.
Usually you use your hit die to heal, and then you recover your hit die from your rest.
I show Haig as completely healed.
That's because
Yeah,
I just changed
Because
it.
somebody just deleted the 15 wounds.
Yeah, I did. Because depending on I was going off the full heal at the long rest rule set. So
Which is not the rule we use.
right. So
So use the hit dice and you get it back.
You recover 1 hit point of damage per character level. You can also expend hit dice, which you will then recover normally on a long rest.
So go ahead and roll. What were you down to?
I'm down 15. So I'm at 39.
Okay, so
You automatically get 5 back
Right.
because of the long rest.
you're going to maul back.
And then I can.
What?
Get them all back in a long rest, right? No matter how many you have.
That's
Hit
your
points
call,
and
Keith.
hit
I guess
dice.
that's a house rule. I thought
thought
short
we were
rest was
using-
hit dice, but that's what I'm kind of curious
No.
now.
Okay, if you open up his house rules module and go check under healing and rest.
Yeah.
You can use a healer's kit to attempt a medicine check on another character. Hang on. So a long rest will naturally restore 1 hit point of damage per character level without expending any hit dice. Additionally, a character may make 1 use of a healer's kit to attempt a medicine check on another character before a long rest. This may not be done on oneself, and the healer's kit use is consumed regardless of whether the ability check succeeds. On a successful DC 15 medicine check, the target character's natural healing is doubled to 2 hit points per level for the long rest. If the check beats a DC of 20, the natural healing rate for the long rest is tripled, so 3 hit points per level. If you beat a DC 30, then the healing rate is quadrupled.
Thank you for rereading all of that for me. I knew what I had in there. I was trying to remember what the base rules that I didn't override were. Which I'm trying to look up the details on the natural healing variant. I'm trying to remember where the heck that is.
And I got to think too. Hit dice. How many hit dice do you get back per day?
Right.
Half of your total rounded down, minimum 1.
Thank you. That's what I was.
So I can rest with 1 hit die and get most of my stuff back.
Well,
I think my hit die is a D10.
Right, your hit die is a D10, so you could, and since you can get half of them back, rounded down with a minimum of 1, and you have 5 hit die, you can spend 2 of them to restore yourself, and then get those 2 back from the long rest.
Okay, the rule that the rule that I just read does not you don't expend hit dice on you can use a medicine check with a use of a healer's kit to increase your natural healing, but it doesn't say anything about spending hit dice before a long rest.
This is the second paragraph. It says you get 1 back per character without expending any hit dice. That's a choice, right? So you get the 5. I could take the 5 minimum hit points for my level and then choose to use my hit dice.
Well, technically,
or you could just let me patch you up.
Yeah,
I
there's,
got- see what you're
there's
saying,
manual
right.
options also that can override it. But yeah, basically you would be choosing to use your hit dice first and then getting 5 back, not choosing to use, because you're choosing to rest and take care of yourself and, not be active and give yourself a chance to recover. So you make
It
that.
also
And the
means we want to make sure we have lots of healing kits with us too.
That's my point, is I want to make sure that I would rather spend my healing dice that re-up than make you spend one of your healer's kits, Alex. If I can get it with my dice that I'm going to refresh, I don't want you to use up your healer's kit.
So can we, normally you can only spend hit dice to heal on a short rest. Are we allowed to do them on a long rest as well?
Use them or restore them.
Use
So
them.
I can use it now and then restore over the long rest is what you're saying, right?
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, if you're resting for 8
Because-
hours, there's no reason why you can't take an hour and then do another and then do a long rest.
I could just use lay on hands.
That's another way of overriding the base rule.
Right, that's options too.
Just question, Keith. I got this druid ability, called Barmer of Summer Court. Can I use that as when I'm in my animal form? Because it don't say I need speech or hand movement. It just said a bonus action to use this ability.
To use the
I just someone I got to see, and I can just do it. So that's why I was just wondering.
well, I want to be clear. Are you talking about the natural healing part? And gosh, I just realized I have it.
Yeah, the natural healing part of
Yes,
this.
as long as you're electing to quote unquote take it easy, then yes, you get the natural healing bonus. But if you want to actually use a medicine or a healer's kit to improve it, that's going to require some manual dexterity. Now, that doesn't stop someone else with a skill who has a healer's kit from using it on you while you're in animal form.
Okay. But yeah, I've got this druid ability where basically I can heal a certain number of D60s. I was just wondering, like, could I use this ability in animal form? I'll let you look at my character sheet, determine if that is possible. If
Basically, you want to know if you have to incant what you're doing, so you have to be able to verbalize versus being able to use it by mind power, correct?
Yeah, because here it just said, you can choose one creature you can see when 120 feet, and
which ability?
That all it says.
Which ability is this?
I'll type it in chat for you.
If you drop the link to the ability in chat, the GM can open it.
Yeah.
The players can't, but the GM can.
Thank you. I keep forgetting about that feature. I do love having Alex encyclopedia of background knowledge.
Right.
I don't know everything.
So, just quick question, Alex. Do you come in pocket form?
Well, I don't know. Can you use Discord and Zoom voice chat on your phone?
Yeah.
Well, then yes, I do come in pocket form.
Anyway, this is definitely good to know for the future. I would say our best option is probably your lay on hands, right, Eric or Varric? Because then we don't have to.
Yeah, I have lay on hands.
And that'll refresh after the long rest anyway. Nobody has to expend anything.
Touch can heal wounds. You have a pool of healing power. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so Ms. Yes, that feature does allow you to use it regardless of your form, because the way I read it is that it's basically an aura of energy that you just will, whether it's your choice.
Did you see it?
Okay, I will walk up to him and just make it look like I'm licking his wounds and heal him that way.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping you
There
from
you go,
making
Dan.
it appear that way. Absolutely.
You just got healed by licking.
It's a powerful lick.
There we go. And
Nice.
then the long rest will take
Plus
me
the
to
5 will
to 0.
take you all the way up.
Yeah.
And of course, Ms., that last sentence in that feature also does apply to you
Okay.
because of that feature.
Because I thought, well, if I've got to heal people and I want to not let people know that I have a human form, I'm thinking
That's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's a magical cat you got there.
Pretty much. Cat's pretty amazing.
Let me check something quick. Amon has not given any indication, asked any question or otherwise that suggests he's suspicious of the cat being anything other than a cat.
So I'm good to take my stuff to 0 now after the long rest, right?
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah, and I do apologize if that rule about healing is confusing. It just I felt that the 5e rule set needed to take one of the variants on. Otherwise, everyone was just able to reset way too quickly. A good healthy with 5e, you could recover too quickly from a good hearty beating when you really should have to pay a price in some way, shape, or form.
No, it's good, and the clarity is good too. Now hash it out early.
Yeah, exactly. And, that's also why I try to, put it into the player's guide and hash it out. But yeah, basically as the general rule states, if it doesn't explicitly override, then the base rules do still apply. And that's where I was getting confused about. It's like, yeah, what is the recovery rate for hit dice again? So I'll have to go through and refresh myself on that and probably flesh out that paragraph a little bit more.
Yeah, it was the as printed in my first printing of the PHB, it says you regain half your hit dice on a long rest, but then it was almost immediately errated to say minimum 1 because otherwise you spend your first level hit die and you never get it back until you hit second level.
Yeah.
Because of the rounding rule.
And I think that's good though. That's definitely good. And of course there are exceptions. There are always exceptions to every rule. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
All right. So, with that, you are now fully healed.
And we are ready to go out on the town.
You're slept. We've advanced the clock. It is now about an hour before noon on the following day. New week begins. And all right, so I've shared with you the map for Bralazar. And I'll share it again because I see only 3 of you have it up. And you'll find everyone in the exposed area down in the lower right corner. And as you head on out, you notice that you have been staying in a small 2-story house of pale blue stone with a conical gold roof that stands amidst flowering gardens. The windows in the house are oval, as though they were eyes looking upon the garden. Surrounding the garden is a 14-foot high wall of open brick tiles, which allows the street beyond to be seen. The gateway is onion-shaped, and the gate is formed of ornamental wrought iron.
I hate to be a stickler, but it's like 25 after. This seems to me to be a good stopping point.
It's exactly what I was thinking. So, but I was going to give you guys a little bit, just slightly more, because I figure you would at least walk out the gate and take a look on the street. So I was going to expose that.
Street.
Sounds
Sweet.
like a plan.
Yes, it does.
And this way you guys at least know what you have to work with when we come back to the game in 2 weeks.
Very good.
We're missing one token though. We're missing the cat.
Sure he's not?
Kitty, kitty.
Yeah, kitty's not.
That was there.
It was there. Now it's not there. Yeah, it's weird.
Tell you what, that is a wide street.
Holy mother.
Yeah, that's a nice wide street.
You're talking like horse-drawn carriages.
Yeah.
All right, that pretty much should reveal at least most of what you see from here. And then last but not least, the description will go with it. The town is dominated by a broad east-west road paved with white marble. It is 50 feet wide and is bordered with sidewalks 12 feet wide. The roadway's center is slightly higher than the edges, and there are 1-foot-tall curbs that separate the road from the sidewalks. Along this boulevard lie the estates of the important villagers, if their size is any indication. Each is surrounded by a wall of decorative brickwork, a visual barrier more than a protective one. Behind the walls stand trees and shrubs, and the tinkle of fountains may be heard. Between the estates, here and there run narrow alleys connecting the boulevard to the less magnificent structures of the city. Chief among these is the road centered on the south, which acts as the bazaar. At the eastern end of the boulevard, the main routes out of Bralazar may be found passing before the huge administrative building. And with that, I think we can call session 2 a wrap.
Excellent. This is cool. Sorry for the disruptions today, guys.
No problem. We all have family. Totally understand. It's worth it to make sure we still have a campaign going.
Oh yeah, it was a little more crazy today than normal, but I think the cabin fever is definitely getting to my crew anyway.
I hear you all too well.
So,
all too well.
we let them out. We let them outside with a hose, and pandemonium ensues. So anyway, I'm gonna go tear up a floor with my father.
I'm going to stop the recording right now.